Welcome to Segabit's Swingin Report Show number 30, Talking Zombies with Aaron Weber. And as the title suggests, we have a special guest on tonight, but before we introduce him, let's introduce our regulars. We have me, Barry. We have George.
Oh, hi.
And we have Jason, a.k.a. That's your cue. All right. And finally, we have our special guest, Associate Brand Manager at Sega, Aaron Weber. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How's it going?
Very well, thank you.
All right. Well, let's kick this off. We know who you are, but what exactly do you do as an Associate Brand Manager?
So, how to put it? I guess the simplest way to describe the job is in the sense that when I was in the community team, you manage all different aspects of the community. And brand management, it's kind of a similar process, except you're working on typically one or two products, like one or two games, and you try and manage everything about that game from the moment that the production and development team says, okay, here's the game, it's done or it's almost done. And then at that point you say, okay, how are we going to market this? How are we going to promote it? What's PR going to say? What things can we arm our community team with to really go out to the fans? How are we going to, mock up the front of the box? So like when you look at the front of a video game in the store, it's probable that a number of people spent countless hours arguing and debating about what the front of that box should look like. And that's also part of the job.
I believe that.
No, it's so true. It's amazing how much time you can spend talking about what the front of the box should look like. I found out the back of the pack, also something I spend a lot of time on making, you've got like 2 paragraphs to work with, sometimes even less than that. And you have to say, so we've got 3 key points that we can get to people that look at this game and go, oh, this looks cool. And they pick it up and they flip it around and you've got approximately 10 seconds of their interest to get them thinking, wow, this is a pretty cool game. So those are a lot of the different things that are entailed within the job. As you guys have probably seen, some of us that are on the brand team also do interviews and we go in front of the cameras and do stuff like that. It kind of varies from person to person, but overall, it's sort of like taking a game and fostering it from the very inception of it on the development side all the way till the final product launch, which we've just had for Yakuza Dead Souls.
That's awesome. So Yakuza is the latest one you've been working on. Is that the first one you've worked on in this new role?
Generations was the first one that I had the privilege of working on under some really awesome people at Sega who really knew their stuff. So it was a good chance for me to kind of learn and get a feeling for what it was like. Yakuza Dead Souls was kind of the first one that they said, all right, we're gonna let you have your hand at this now. Good luck. And so I definitely have assistance from everyone else at Sega, and I have to give a lot of thanks to everyone. And the thing about it is that a brand manager you're not like the person that does everything for the game. You're the person that works with everybody. So all of the work and all of the thanks and credit for a good game launch really gets dispersed among all of the teams, is the way I see it.
Very cool. And before we get too deep in the show, I wanted to ask, are you in any way involved with Sonic 4 anymore?
Peripherally, I can't really go into too many details there, but I will tell you that I hassle Ken all the time, and I've been hassling him ever since we knew there was episode 2. You guys remember that from the episode 1 stuff, and all of the quotes, the things that we said back on episode 1, many of them were said knowing that episode 2 is on the horizon and we can improve this, we can improve that. So I have to forego all of the questions for episode 2 over to Ken and to Kelly and those guys that work on it. But yeah,
that's totally cool. I knew we had so many listener questions, and they were all like, to ask him when episode 2 is coming out and if episode 3 and what's his address? And I was like, I don't think we're going to be talking too much about Sonic 4 episode 2 just because I haven't seen your face when it comes to any of those videos. It's all been Ken, so that's good to know.
Yeah, me and Alex handled a lot of that last week with Ken.
Yeah, I heard about that interview. I haven't listened to the full thing yet, but I do remember when that was making the rounds. So I hope you guys didn't interrogate him too badly.
No, not too badly.
No, I'm kidding. Grill him hard.
Yeah, we're having a good week here. We had Ken Monday and you today.
Good stuff.
And it's going to be a weekly thing. No. So speaking of weeks, what have we been all up to? Let's start with George. What have you been up to this past week?
Not much actually, but I did catch up on The Walking Dead since we're talking about zombies.
Nice.
And it's pretty good. Like, I was pretty disappointed at the first half of the season because it was kind of slow, and it lost my interest. But the second half, when they came back in mid break, it's been pretty good, like pretty action packed. So I'm very excited for the season finale. I think it's on Sunday.
And Shigs, what have you been up to?
Well, actually, I've been buried in Sega games this week and playing quite a bit. I finished up Binary Domain, which I love. Now, one thing with me is it doesn't matter how good a game is. Once I finish like a campaign, it's time. I know I'm not going to get back to it anytime soon, so it's time for it to go. So I did trade in that game for Yakuza Dead Souls. So I've been playing a lot of that. So I traded the Nagoshi game for a Nagoshi game. You could
Nice.
say I made some.
I told him not to trade in Binary Domain because I wanted to play Invasion with him.
Oh.
I was made some negotiations, you could say.
Oh.
And and I've been playing today Sonic Triple Trouble and Shinobi on the Game Gear.
Nice.
Also got that new Super Monkey Ball 2 on my little Android cell phone. I've been trying that out. It works okay, except in the single player mode, if you try to center your crosshairs to continue, I can center it all I like. It won't let me continue any further. But you could still play one of the other modes in the quick play mode. I'm sure that's going to get patched soon.
Cool. And I've not been up to much. I saw The Secret World of Arrietty over the weekend, and it was really good.
Yeah.
It was.
What is it about?
It's basically an adaptation of The Borrowers from Miyazaki. Yep. And I kind of like. I was getting excited to see it, and so I watched some of the earlier movies from the studio, and I think that wasn't a good idea just because I watched I watched Princess Mononoke and I watched Spirited Away, and then I went into The Secret World of Arrietty, and it was really quiet and.
Yeah, it's very subtle compared to those, I think. I will confess that I went and watched the midnight release of that here in San Francisco.
That's cool.
I was kind of excited for it, and then I think compared to Mononoke, though, the scene where his arm and the guy's head and all that with the bow and the arrow, like that stuff just doesn't compare, I think, to the style of Arrietty.
It's probably better going in with like Kiki's Delivery Service or something like that before seeing this. So.
Yeah, it's definitely not a top tier one, but it was really good, and I saw it digitally projected, so it was even though it was 3 weeks into the theaters, it was still crystal clear. So
nice.
Yeah, I think anyone who's seen the movie should check that out. And in terms of gaming, I haven't played much except my Sonic 4 Episode 1 file got corrupted because I turned the Xbox off while it was saving, so I replayed that just because it was killing me to think that I had a game sitting there with the file corrupted. So it's done. I got Supersonic about an hour ago, so that felt good.
Good stuff.
And Aaron, what have you been up to besides work and Sega related stuff, if you want to share?
Yeah. That actually feels like that's been my week. Because Yakuza hit stores on Tuesday, but a few stores decided they were going to break the street date and go live a little bit earlier, which caused a little bit of a problem. Mm-hmm. So the week kind of started on like last Friday and then really kicked in on Monday. But I've been spending a lot of time on the Yakuza forums, I'll admit. And we'll get into this a bit later. Let's see, outside of Sega stuff, outside of Yakuza stuff.
It's hard.
It is kind of hard. A lot of my free time goes to a game that's technically part of Sega now. It's called Spiral Knights, and it came out just about a year ago, actually. Sharky and I actually used to play that together. I don't know if he's mentioned that ever, but we teamed up on Spiral Knights for a while there.
Yeah, he's brought it up.
No, he doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't bring anything up.
Yeah, GX Echidna, who's on my show occasionally, he's very addicted to that game.
Oh, great! You made him addicted.
Oh dear. But yeah, no, it's a solid game. I spend a lot of time, what time I have anyway, on that, because I can just kind of drop an hour here and there and then not have to worry about it. Beyond that, nothing too crazy as of late. Still working on some guitar skills, but I'm pretty terrible right now. I'm trying to learn how to play. So that's that.
All right, and George, you didn't touch on some games. Did you play anything this week?
Just Binary Domain, just the games I did reviews for. I think last week I talked about House of the Dead 3. I played Binary Domain, which was excellent. Barry, you should play it. I know you haven't played it yet.
I
I'm not
definitely
going to talk
will.
about plot spoilers, but me and Jason got different endings. We talked about the endings. I didn't know they differed that much. I guess Jason doesn't like talking, or Shiggs doesn't like talking to his comrades like I do.
No, I do. I got mostly positive, from everybody except for one.
Who?
What's his name? Bo, I guess, is the one who.
Is
Which
it?
is odd because
Bo.
he's the one who cheers me on the most. It seems like so.
Of course,
I'm surprised his trust levels. Well, no, it couldn't have been low because he. No, I can't talk about that part because that's the ending.
Yeah, but yeah, well, of course you didn't. He didn't like you. I mean,
But I'll say I got a good ending. I didn't get a great ending.
Shiggs.
Yeah.
Just admit it. He didn't like you because he's black. Just admit it. I'm not calling you out, Shiggs. I'm sorry.
He's just saying the game doesn't lie.
The game doesn't lie. It's advanced. You could tell by your voice. No, I couldn't get the voice thing to work. I don't know. I tried. I think it's just my headset. Jason?
That was a common problem with everyone. I just use the buttons all the time.
What do you have to say about that, Aaron? It's a common problem.
That's a good one. I'm going to have to pass you on to the people that worked on Binary Domain. No, I've heard some things like that too. I've only played a few hours into it so far. I still need to get through that. I've been playing more Yakuza than I have Binary, but I don't think you can blame me.
No.
But I enjoyed what I played for sure. In some ways, I looked at it kind of like I knew that parts of the team that had worked on Dead Souls had probably gone on to work on Binary after that. So I was kind of like, oh, I wonder, if they've taken some things from Dead Souls and tried to improve them, or what things from Binary can you see in Dead Souls? What comparisons there? But as to the mic stuff, yeah, I don't know much. I haven't tried using the mic yet, so.
Okay, yeah. I don't think you need the mic. I mean, they play just fine.
No, you don't. You can just use the preset commands, I think.
Yeah. Barry?
Oh, right. Yes, sir.
What have you been playing?
Oh, I already said I haven't done much, but I did play some Sonic 4 just because I corrupted my file.
Yeah, I heard that. Never mind. I usually try to ignore you in the podcast.
Yeah, I know you do.
Ouch.
You have me on mute.
Ouch. That's cold.
Well, just for that, I'm going to talk to Aaron.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, well, this is our next section, Talking with Aaron. I think it's going to be a regular feature now.
We get him here every week and we just talk about politics?
Yeah,
awesome.
All right.
No, but, with the Yakuza Dead Souls, we'll talk about some zombies here. First off, aside from Dead Souls, there's been a lot of zombie games over the past, I guess it's been a long, long time. I mean, there's Zombies Ate My Neighbors, but it seems like in the past 5 years or so, there's been a huge zombie surge. And of all the zombie games out there, what's your favorite one besides Dead Souls?
Besides Dead Souls, I mean, does it have to be the tried and true zombie looking thing, or do scary games count too?
I think anything
sort of
with zombies.
Reanimated dead. I would probably go with Dead Space. Or yeah, Dead Space I enjoyed quite a bit. It's a little bit more on the frightening side of things versus the sort of like arcadey shoot 'em up style that is Yakuza and some of the other like Dead Rising kind of stuff. But I did enjoy Dead Space quite a bit.
Cool. And what is your favorite? This is kind of turning into Inside the Actor's Studio. What is your favorite zombie film?
Zombie film. Hang on. I've got to think here. I'm gonna have to table that one because there's at least a few coming to mind, and I can't quite make up my mind right now.
Okay.
Let me check here. I will have an answer for you by the end of this podcast, though.
That's fair.
I got to decide.
All right. Well, while you're thinking about that, what is your favorite upcoming Sega title? And it can be one that's not announced, and you can announce it here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, let me tell you, we got this great new game. It's called. Oh wait, the headset's coming out, guys. One second.
Okay.
What's going on? Let's see. Favorite upcoming Sega title. I mean, yeah, granted, there are of course titles that you guys don't know about, but that will always be the case, and I will probably never be able to spoil them here, or I'll get yelled at. So I can't do that. I will say the title that I'm most looking forward to that you guys probably know about. Let's see here.
Jet Set Radio.
Jet Set's a huge one. I love Jet Set. And you guys probably heard too, but a big chunk of the soundtrack has been retained, which made me so happy because that was one of
Yeah.
the first discussions we had when we knew it was coming. Was like,
Very
how
happy.
much of the music can you keep? And props to all the guys that are on the Jet Set team for pushing really hard to try and get as much of that music as they can. Lots of respect for that because we as fans definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
So Jet Set's up there. Episode 2, still looking forward to that quite a bit. I haven't played anything on episode 2 lately. I was playing it
Okay.
quite a while ago initially, so I'm curious to see how it has evolved since the very early days when I was yelling at Ken and telling him to change things.
Well, yeah. No, go on.
Let's see. Beyond that, I feel like I need to take a look at just the roster real quick so I can go down the list.
What about that Streets of Rage game?
That Streets of Rage game. What's this?
Oh man, I thought it was gonna get you off guard. Sorry.
Oh, were you trying to make a? Oh, that was.
No.
Come on, guys, you gotta know me better than that.
No, there was that canceled one.
Yeah, that too. That's canceled because the developer's dead.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
from way back though, right? I saw some
Yeah.
of the screens for that, like way back.
That's too
Unless-
bad.
Unless if you
Go
mean
on.
the Streets of Rage for the Dreamcast 7, I mean that's not due out for another 30 years, so I can't talk about that, of course.
Oh,
But,
okay. Fair enough.
oh wait, I didn't just say Dreamcast. Oh crap.
Yeah, you guys got to make
Uh-oh.
at least 5 of them now. So sorry about that.
We're just gonna skip. We're just gonna go straight there.
Yeah.
No.
I
have
gotta
never-
say about the whole Dreamcast. Sorry, about the whole Dreamcast
Yeah.
numbering thing. I think it's so strange that people immediately go to Dreamcast 2 when doing a numerical sequel to a console has never been Sega's thing to do.
Right?
I just think it's weird.
Have we ever done that? I don't think we've ever done that. Have we?
The SG 1000, I think, it's been like a second version, but it's the same sort of same cartridges and everything. So it's not a second.
Like
You
a
know
new
what I mean?
console. Yeah, I mean the Nomad I know had a few different variations, but in terms of
Right.
like when Sega was a console maker, that's what I should preface this with, guys, so that everyone understands that was sarcasm when I
Yeah.
talked about Cast 7. Just getting it out there. I know most people know, but I think back when they were in consoles, it was always a new system from
Mhm.
Genesis, Mega Drive to Saturn to Dreamcast to 32X, the best one ever.
Oh, absolutely.
But
And-
yeah. Go ahead.
George had a question, but he worded it oddly. Maybe he wants to clarify what this question is.
Which question?
What do you think Sega's biggest weakness is?
Oh, sorry. It was actually a Twitter question last night, and I was falling asleep, and I pasted it.
Okay.
They said, "What do you think Sega's biggest weakness is?" I guess like there's people always say like Sega has like parts of it that aren't as strong as their art style or their music.
Mhm.
When it becomes comes to games, if you had to choose one thing they're weak at, what would it be?
It's gonna sound like a crazy answer, but I think if I had to pick one thing that Sega probably has as its biggest weakness from the beginning of the company to now, in my opinion, both their biggest weakness and their greatest strength is that they almost focus too much on making things that fans really appreciate, or making. I won't always say it's like making 10 out of 10 super quality games, because let's be honest, like you've seen games in the past that you've been like, I don't know if that, but at the same time, I think that almost to a fault, especially with the Dreamcast, Sega was so invested in being like the leading cutting edge and doing everything ahead of their competitors and being so far ahead of the game that while it was amazing for all of us playing the Dreamcast and loving it and playing PSO online for the first time ever, and all of those experiences were fantastic, it wasn't something the rest of the world was ready for. And so while that is their greatest strength, perhaps that was also one of their greatest weaknesses. And in some cases, I don't know if that's necessarily still prevalent now, but I think certainly in the history of the company, that would be the answer that I would give.
That's a good one.
Actually, I think the question was Shig's question, but I added it really oddly.
No, it wasn't mine.
Shigs, you sure? You said
Yeah.
no. It might have been Knuckles' actually,
No,
but
I
anyway.
put stuff down below.
Okay. Well, I guess they said that they think marketing is. I guess a lot of people say marketing is their weak point. I guess.
So let's talk about that, because I mean I'm on the marketing team now, so that's something we can kind of discuss a little bit.
Okay,
Oh,
let's.
cool.
Do you have any
Okay, I'm not
specifics?
gonna take jabs or anything at anybody.
No,
But I don't want anybody to feel bad. But binary domain. I mean, would you say that was a? I mean, launch window was kind of weird and kind of by Mass Effect 3. It
Mhm.
ran. I know they ran some ads, I guess, but not very many ads. I mean, what do you think about how binary domain was handled?
The thing with binary domain, and really with a lot of titles, and Yakuza is a good one that I can kind of speak to a bit more, is when you have a game as a brand manager, typically you've got your budget to work under, right? And
Hmm.
essentially you've got to work with what you're given. And so it's tough sometimes because what you're given might not be what your friends over working on Mass Effect 3 have. And so you're sitting there going, man, I do not have nearly the amount of money that these guys have to promote their game, and they're going to buy TV ads, and they've got these amazing CG trailers, and that's just something I know that I can't do with the money I have. So how can I try and get this game out there and try and heavily promote it? And in some cases, I mean, you can kind of point fingers all over the place, I guess. And I know you guys aren't really necessarily doing that here, but like for the sake of
No.
discussion, if you've only got a certain budget to work with, that's all you've got. And so if that only buys you so much in ads and so much in merchandise and so much in other stuff to promote the game, then that's your limit. And so that's the challenge. I think it is a fair point that for some titles, certainly Sega doesn't promote all of our titles as heavily as a Mass Effect 3, and
Mhm.
that's tough because when you're the brand manager, you want to do that. You want your title to be the next Mass Effect 3. Like Yakuza's going out the door, and I'm like, oh, I really wish I had, a couple $1 million I could just throw on TV ads and just get
Yeah.
the game out there. And it's an interesting case because even if you have a small title, this is where I get a little optimistic. Even with a title like Yakuza, right, which is a franchise that we've been pushing in the West for a few years now, that we have a really dedicated fan base for. When you're in a position like this, what I am trying to do is to really get the community team and get our PR team and work with these guys to rally the fans and the press, the people that really care about this game, so
Hmm.
that when what we can do is we can go back and say, check out what we were able to accomplish with, for example, Yakuza Dead Souls, and make a good story out of that. And it's through small successes that you eventually have the opportunity for big successes. That's kind of the best way I can explain it. So in my case, I'm trying to make some, not necessarily small, but some decent sized successes happen so that hopefully we can lead on to larger successes in the future. And that's what you kind of have to do when you're making the case for, more budget or trying to push a product more. So you've got to be able to explain to other people, this is why this product is worth investing more of your money in. And that's the case that has to be made. So a lot of teams work from a lot of different angles to determine what's the quality of a game, what's necessarily like the risk factor. And when
Hmm.
we see these games early, man, we kind of get jaded. I have to say, some people get jaded. And I've felt myself coming there at times too, when you've seen a game really, really early, and you're like, I don't know if this one's going to be so good. And of course, like by the end of it, typically it gets much better, but it's tough to turn it around sometimes when your initial perception is, I'm not sure about this one. But you've got to
Hmm.
believe in your product, you've got to believe in your game. And so for marketing a game, anyway, you got to take the money you've got, fight for more if you think that you need more or can get more. And sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And then whatever you do end up with, you got to make the most of that. So I think all of the brand managers that worked on Binary, everyone that worked on Yakuza as well, fought really hard to do the best they could with the money they've got. So hopefully it pays off.
Do
Yeah.
you also think that you guys, well, I mean, in general now, I mean, you guys delayed a few titles for winter.
Mhm.
Usually it's because of it's not ready yet, but sometimes you guys don't want to compete against bigger games, I
Right, that
assume.
does happen sometimes.
Yeah, and you think that the video game industry's like so filled with like AAA titles that and no matter what time you guys release it, most likely gonna have a AAA title right next to you?
Maybe someday, but I don't foresee that
Because I
happening
mean,
anytime
like, it's
soon.
it's pretty early in the year and it's already Mass Effect 3, and
Yeah,
it's
right.
like it's
Well,
kind of
that's
hard.
that's that's the thing too, and you guys will notice this. And some of you that are familiar with the industry probably know this already, but March typically is the end of the year for most game companies, so everyone's trying to push to make sure their products can get out in March. And so Yakuza is an interesting series in that the way that the games have come over from Japan, they always get done right about the time where we can ship them in March. Dead Souls broke the record when it actually got here less than a year after Japan, which is a new thing for us. So we're pleased with that. But yeah, it's tough, when you're up against big titles like Mass Effect 3. And even though Yakuza is a title that was, created in Japan and had a ton of time, to be created and to be developed and finally get to the state it was in and then localized here for the West. Sometimes you look at the schedule and the answer is we have to go out on this date and we've got to find a way to make it work. So you do the best you can to go up against the giant behemoth. I like to picture it sometimes as sort of what the Sega of old probably did going up against Nintendo. So being the underdog isn't so bad sometimes.
Nice.
Okay. If you don't mind, if I've got a question here. When it comes to projecting how well a game is going to do they like have a plan in advance? Like I notice, while Yakuza is huge in the East, it's has more of a smaller niche following in America.
Mm-hmm.
On its pricing, is it like do you think at $60, okay, we'll catch the hardcore fan base, and then as it lowers the price in like months and months in advance, we'll get some of the more people who are unsure of it but think it looks promising, kind of like what the original Valkyria Chronicles did, where it wasn't that hot at 60, but once it dropped below a certain price point, it got a huge audience.
Yeah, and that's a great way to phrase the question. I'm glad you brought up Valkyria because I was going to. So Valkyria, as our example then, was a game that it launched. It didn't do as well, I think, as everyone at Sega was hoping it would do, but we knew the game quality was there. Like the mock review, all of the reviews were giving this game like 9s and 10s. I think it's still like a 94 or 92 on Metacritic or something like that. Like it is one of the best games on the PlayStation 3, hands down. And yet the sales weren't there, and so everyone's going, how can this happen? And I think when you've got a title that is, a kind of niche title like that it's kind of a JRPG meets a strategy game meets a little bit of the real-time third-person shooter stuff. When it's a new game and a new IP, you face a big challenge of getting people sold in on that initial concept. When it's a returning IP like a Mario or a Sonic and the stuff like that, you've got your dedicated fans that are going to be there to support you on day one. So for Valkyria, when the price point hit 20, there were two things that I think helped out. And it was actually a GameStop sale that happened. And so the GameStop team put out like 4 or 5 titles up for $20 as a big promotion. Valkyria is one. But right around this time, too, we've been doing a lot with the DLC for Valkyria, really promoting the series. And part of the promotion was getting fans to tell their friends, like, this is one of the most underrated games on the PS3 right now, and it really needs your support. And I think it was that combination, sort of the GameStop sale was like the gasoline, and the fan support, the outreach from all the people in the community telling their friends, this game is amazing. If you pass it up for $20, you're crazy. That was the match. That was the match that started that huge fire. And then suddenly, here go the Valkyria sales, and they're like all the way back up right next to the initial launch sales. And everyone's going, what just happened? Because sales never do that. They never spike quite that high again, typically. 6 or 7 months after launch. So that was a cool case. And I think for Yakuza, and to answer the question a bit more deeply, we always do try and find out what the quality of a game is going to be. We've got people internally that can kind of help ascertain that. And then if needed, sometimes we also do what's called a mock review. And a mock review is essentially where we work with someone that's got experience in the editing field to get their take on it. We say, if you were a reviewer, what would you give this game? And that kind of gives us it's like a litmus test, essentially, to say, well, this guy thinks it's probably going to be around here. And usually those guys are pretty accurate. So we like to do that sometimes if we're curious and not quite sure where we think the game is going to come in ratings-wise.
That's cool. Huh.
Wait, so you actually pay a guy to come in and play the whole game and then tell you what he hated about it? That's the sweetest job I ever heard.
Can I have that job?
No. Oh yeah, talking about Valkyria Chronicles, Sharky told me he gave me this question: pester him about Valkyria Chronicles 3. So I'm pestering you about it.
I had a feeling he would do that. I can't say anything about Valkyria Chronicles 3 or really even the franchise, in general in terms of like the future of it, because that's stuff that I don't know at this point.
And plus it's kind of hard if you think about it too, being a PSP title and Vita already being out.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to sell a PSP game. I mean, in the US, at least in the US.
Yeah. The best thing I can say is that, like, if you're a fan of Valkyria, if you want to see the series continue, the best thing you can do is support it. If you haven't bought Valkyria 1, if you haven't bought Valkyria 2, highly encourage you to go out there and do it. It's really easy sometimes to convince people when you've got numbers. So if you can have huge numbers of sales and go and say, Valkyria Chronicles 2 has sold X amount, or Valkyria Chronicles has sold this, the series as a whole has sold this. It's a lot easier to make the case sometimes, but in terms of the future of the franchise, I mean, I can't give you a number and say if you manage to sell, if we can get 2 million units sold, then it'll happen, or if 1 million units sold. Look, there's no details I can give, sadly, but I totally understand there's a lot of people that want to see the series continue. I'm a huge fan of the series myself. But yeah, no news for me, Sharky. Sorry, bud.
Well, speaking of sales, I'm actually looking on Amazon right now. Yakuza Dead Souls is only $44.99.
Yeah, and Newegg too. They both put up their sales today.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw Binary Domain did that too.
Well
and
worth
I just
it at
missed
that price. Well worth it.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
awesome. So no excuse. That's a price you'd probably see. You wouldn't even see the used copies at GameStop. That price. They mark it down like $5. Like I've seen games. They come out on Tuesday. I go in on Friday and there's already used copies marked down $5. I'm like, why am I going to buy a copy?
Shig sold them. He sells new games all the time.
It's
I yell at him.
Domain right there, man. Yeah.
I yell at him about it all the time. I'm like, don't sell your games.
Yeah, Sega doesn't get that money.
Yeah.
This is true.
Well, I'll say at least it might interest somebody else to giving word of mouth about the game if they got it at a cheaper price.
That's a valid point. $5 less maybe for the used one. Speaking of, you were talking about DLC earlier for games. Do you hold off on DLC okay, you've worked on Sonic Generations, right?
Yep.
And there's a lot of people on the Sonic Stadium message boards asking if there's ever going to be any DLC for Generations aside from the initial pinball stage.
Right.
And I'm absolutely positive you can't answer any of this, but theoretically, if you had DLC, would you have had released it previous, or would you still be holding on to it? You know what I mean?
You're asking if there's made DLC. Is that what you're asking?
I am, but I know I don't want.
You're trying to word it all like sneaky, so no.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying theoretically, if there was Generations DLC, would it still be feasible to release it, or is it too late?
He's asking if there's hope, essentially.
Yes.
It's cool. Like you can word it however you like. It's all good. Yeah, that is one that I really can't answer at this point, and I don't know if I'll be able to answer it in the future. But if there, yeah, man, I really can't. I can't say almost anything on that. I'm sorry. I wish I could say more.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's one of those questions that I will not be able to answer today. So apologies to all the Sonic fans. I know you guys want to know, but no answers for me.
Talking about DLC, one more. Well, another DLC question. This one's a binary domain, since I'm really into the game right now.
I'm going to predict you're asking about the Yakuza skins?
Yeah, I assumed that you were going to give them free to, like, maybe Dead Souls consumers, maybe. Like, I don't know. I know that the Japanese version, the free DLC, works on the 360 version of the game in the US, but it doesn't work in the PS3 version. That's the one I play, so if I can't play as Kazuma, I'm going to be angry.
Yeah, that one, I have to admit, I wasn't involved at all with any of that. I found out about all that stuff peripherally and later on. I was personally kind of pleased to hear that the 360 skins worked in the West, because I've secretly wanted to play as Akiyama in Binary for quite a while now, so that makes me happy. But yeah, I don't really know what the thought process was or the plan was for all of that, so I don't get to comment on the Binary skins, but yeah, as always, stay tuned, and I don't know if we'll have any news. It's, again, not something I can comment on, but no news is sometimes good news. So
those Japanese players on the binary domain are hard, huh?
Are they good?
Man, on the PS3 version, they're always whipping me, man. I feel hopeless.
That was me. PSO battle mode, man. Those Japanese guys, they beat me down day after day.
Well, if they do release that DLC to the Americas, I will rebuy Binary Domain for PS3.
+1 sale.
Nice.
Jason, are you gonna buy new?
Yeah, I will buy new.
All right, then +1 sale.
Good boy. Well, I have one more difficult question. I think that's it for Sonic Stadium questions, because I did put a call out for them.
Okay.
And again, maybe I can say this one theoretically. Basically, Izuka said, and it's been going on, and you know what I'm talking about, on all the news services,
I'm
saying,
gonna say
Sonic, there's not going to be a Sonic 4 episode 3. It's over. And
Who
now
would have known that he would say something crazy
before
like
you,
that?
and before you say you can't answer it or anything, I was just
say it's a mistranslation.
The way I read it was that
No
there
plans.
there is no work being done because they're still working on episode 2, and it would be foolish to have a game already in development when they haven't even made a penny on the second episode.
I would say no plans probably doesn't necessarily mean no.
No, it just sounded to me like he said we're going to make this game and we're going to wait for feedback from fans, then we don't have no plans for 3 right now until there's feedback. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, that particular interview, I skimmed the interview, so I can't really comment to any great level of detail. Let me bring up exactly what was said real quick here. But the way that I understand it is that he pretty much said that there weren't plans, and they wanted to correct me if I'm wrong here, but they wanted to kind of gauge feedback as well from the fans. That was also mentioned in the quote.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's
they want to continue getting that feedback. So, yeah, I don't know. That I've been in some interviews before where I would read the translated interview and I'd be like, is that really what was said? And then you would find out later that because of the way that the wording was, it's easy for you to draw certain absolutes from it that might not have been intended, or vice versa. So while it is entirely possible that he might have meant every word he said, it's also possible that perhaps in some way that certain things were taken from that translation. I really don't know in this case because I wasn't there and I haven't heard any comment from our teams. So what you'll have to do, I think, is wait to hear an answer back from my PR community team. And there's a dog barking, by the way.
That's cool.
Sorry,
yeah.
That's my dog.
Is that your dog? It's cool. It's cool.
Oh,
I was like,
it's outside of it's outside of the window.
Yeah, no worries. I'd say stay tuned in case the PR community teams have anything to say. Until then, that'll be where the official word comes from.
Okay.
So.
One thing I'll say is that in another interview that he had, I think it was Sven asked him if there would be like the length between episode 2 to episode 3 coming out would be like the same as Half-Life 2 to Half-Life episode 3, which of course it's 5+ years and it's still not announced. And he did say probably not. So that's something you could take.
Yeah.
So it's not so like I said, it's not necessarily no.
Yeah, sounds like a mystery, guys. I don't know.
Well, I will say the first episode sold very well.
It did. Yes,
and
it did.
the second episode, assuming it sells as well, I think Sega likes money. So
No,
I don't think any.
I've heard they're allergic to money. I've heard.
I have not heard of any.
32X would like to have a word with you.
I mean, just look at the Monkey Ball franchise. If we're gonna get that many Monkey Balls because they keep selling well, I'm assuming.
Oh, by the way, I've also been playing Super Monkey Ball on my Android phone. I forgot to add that.
Nice.
Sorry.
So, all right. Well, that does it for my at least Sonic-centric questions. Let's see. Do we have any Twitter questions, George?
No, I do have some, but I don't want. One I already said it was that binary domain. The others are just like people like either really angry that you guys don't like Tails, and some other people.
We love Tails.
Alex,
hang on. What's wrong with Tails? What is this?
Alex was joking with GX. They were arguing back and forth. He's saying Tails sucks, but he didn't mean any of that.
No. What I've heard is that a lot of people are mad because I guess Tails isn't available single player on Sonic 4 Episode 2. It's like a co-op thing only.
Right.
So I guess people are angry about that, and some other people wanting like release dates on stuff that obviously you can't give out. So
No.
not gonna be like, oh, when is Shimmy 3 coming out? And you're like, next week. Forgot to announce it.
Oh
Right.
my God, that was supposed to be up on the site. Yeah. Did you guys know that Tails is afraid of lightning? How crazy is that, right? Anyway, that's a random fact. I don't even know why I mentioned that. Let's move on.
That's a plot spoiler for Sonic 4 Episode 2.
So there's going to be the lightning shield returns. No.
I would say don't try and extrapolate anything from that statement, or you'll be sorely disappointed. It's just a random statement. It really is.
Okay.
But it's true.
Come on, Aaron. We gotta put something in our headline. Give it a
Aaron
listen.
Weapons
He might.
confirms Tails afraid of lightning.
Tells us for okay. I didn't even know that, but I think everybody's afraid of lightning besides Benjamin Franklin.
Well, I guess you'd have to see the Sonic OVA.
Oh,
Oh, he is afraid of lightning.
Yeah, point
There
of
we go.
lightning.
That OVA has a lot of random moments in it. But see, if we go by that, Knuckles also has a hat. Like, no, it burned up in the end,
And
didn't it?
Tails
My bad.
feels up girls too. So.
And Knuckles
Yeah,
is a treasure hunter.
That's true. See, that
Though-
OVA has a lot of interesting changes to it.
That is really odd.
you want to talk?
Have you?
Are we gonna move on to the next section, or are we gonna be talking about Tails' lightning?
Actually, I wanted to talk more about Tails Lightning.
All right, go for it. I don't know how much we're gonna be talking about lightning and Tails, but go on.
No, that's about it. Maybe we should move on to the new games section. Just
Which is
let,
only one game, dude.
But it's a very good game. I'm happy with it.
Have you played it?
Dead Souls?
No.
No.
Oh no, wait. Yeah,
Oh,
Dead
no.
Souls
Oh.
come out this week. But we mean new games. We mean new announced games.
Newly announced. Okay.
Okay,
All
there's
right.
only been one in Japan, and we're not gonna get it. So it's a Hatsune Miku, whatever, coming to iPhone. I guess it's
Hatsune
called
Miku.
Miku Flick. I can't wait to play it. Obviously, you know me. I'm always into those. What are they called? The franchise, Barry.
What are they? The Vocaloids?
Yeah.
Vocaloid. Yep.
Yeah,
Aaron,
those-
you know about those? You into Japan?
Yeah. No, I know about Miku. I mean,
Can-
they had that concert here in LA not too long ago.
Did you
Did
go?
you go?
I didn't go, but a friend of mine went, and she was dressed up as Miku when she went down there, which is pretty
wow.
cool. Yeah.
They showed footage of that on the news. It was just so weird.
Did you guys see with like the leak glow sticks? That was like the coolest thing I thought.
Yeah.
What?
So Miku in the Vocaloid series, I mean, a lot of the fans listening probably know, but the leak is like Miku's signature thing, and she spins it around, and they had glow sticks that were fashioned like leaks that everyone was raving with
Oh,
at
that's
the
crazy.
concert. It was pretty awesome. It was like nerd rave, so it was pretty cool.
Now, who works on that brand over there in America? Is there? I can't imagine there being a large team. I mean, do any of the games have they ever made it over here?
I
should
don't
ask.
think a single Hatsune Miku game has ever come out in the West.
That's
I
crazy.
could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they have not,
I,
to my
I-
knowledge, at least.
I could swear, like, the fact that I even know so much about it and I've never even played the game, I would have thought that at least one of them broke through. But I think you're
Yeah,
right.
I don't think they ever have, and it's interesting because like there's a huge following for Miku, I think, out there. We've
Yeah.
seen it at the crowd at the concert and everything. So
Jason, are you okay?
His head blew up.
what just happened?
Shiggs, you okay?
I was testing my mic because I wasn't sure if it was working or not. I
It's
plugged in
working.
the mic so you wouldn't hear my dog.
Okay, well it works.
Okay.
Um,
Yep, you're good.
Yeah, I cover the games because people actually care about the games, and it's always the
Yeah.
same comments though. They're always complaining that Sega doesn't want to bring it over, but I kind of see why they wouldn't bring it over. It's kind of very small fan base in the West for that. I would see hard, it would be hard to sell. I would assume.
I mean,
a little too
I
rich.
was surprised Rhythm Thief was even getting an English release. That was
So
surprising.
soon too.
Yeah. Have you given
yeah.
that a play yet?
I haven't played it, but I've heard really good things about it from a number of people internally at Sega who all said it was a really, really good game, like much better than they expected.
That's really cool. I mean, there's Space Channel 5 and Samba de Amigo references. So that alone, I mean, do you, like, going back to talking with Aaron,
Yeah.
whenever you get a game in your hands, or maybe if this ever happens, and you find a Sega reference in it, do you, like, would you milk it for all it's worth? Because I've seen, like, the smallest reference, you see people on online going, "Oh, day one purchase, man," and it's like it's like a single music track from another franchise, or like I inside a claw machine, and that's
Yes.
enough to sell a copy.
Well, let me. The story of how I came to Sega can all be tied back to a game called Phantasy Star Online, which I bought only because there was also a demo disc for a game called Sonic Adventure 2 in there. So, yeah, I probably would buy a game for a cameo or a demo of another franchise I liked. Yep.
Nice. What was your character name?
On Phantasy Star?
Yeah.
It was it was initially, God, what was my very first character? I think I probably named him Sonic, and it was probably in all capital letters. He's probably a terrible blue-looking Humar that I
I've
ran
probably
around with.
seen you.
Yeah, I ended up going with Ruby later, and then Ruby being it was a manly man character, a force,
Oh, nice.
and he got
Did-
nulled, so I lost him, and I decided I had to make a new character, and that's where Ruby Eclipse came in. I've
Oh
had it
wow,
ever since.
so that's the origin of your name. That's really cool. Did
Yeah.
you roll with any groups, or did you just kind of go solo in BSO?
I formed my own guild eventually, and a couple friends and I maintained it. And back in the day, like back in 2001, 2002,
Mhm.
I mean, I was in like my early teens, like really early teens, and so were my friends. So our guild leading skills were, of course, not the best, and we were still learning. And it was a good experience, actually, learning a lot of leadership stuff and how people react and how to organize large groups of people, thanks to the guild stuff. Some of those same guys actually still play with me now on Spiral Knights.
Oh wow. Did you have a guild name? I might have come across it.
Yeah, we were called GEM back in the day. It was JE capital M, and there was no real reason for the capital M. We just didn't want it to be lowercase. So
Oh,
everyone
wow.
thought that we'd misspelled the word gemstone, and that was kind of the intent at first. We all had like gemstone named characters. I was Ruby at first. A friend of mine was Diamond. We had all these different precious stones, and that was like the initial requirement to get in the group. And later we threw that away because it was dumb and ridiculous. But
Were you
That's
truly outrageous?
I'm so glad you made that reference because Blueburst, this was the years just before I became a moderator for Sega, that we had Gem again, and we kept it going through GameCube and onto Blueburst. And so someone brought up that song, and I was like, this thing is amazing. I didn't realize there was some 80s cartoon about a rocker chick called
my
Gem
God.
that had a theme song. So I made a recruitment video using that theme song. You can still find it on YouTube, actually, and it's just that theme song with us running around promoting the guild.
Nice. Nicely done. Yeah, I ran around with this group called LPSO, Legit Fantasy Star Online, and their major requirement was as long as you didn't cheat, you wouldn't get kicked out. And
Nice.
so me and a friend of mine, he actually just lived an hour away, so we played probably every Friday and Saturday night from about 10 p.m. till about 4 in the morning. And
Nice.
like I still get emotional when I hear the Forest song, because that just like that means that I'm going to be playing that game for another 6 hours. So
It brings back
uh,
memories, doesn't it?
it does, and you play it for people who aren't into the game, and they go, "Oh, that's pretty catchy," and it's like, no, you don't get it. That's like
You don't understand, man. Yeah,
that
exactly.
means you're playing Phantasy Star Online, and it was good times. And then I had another character that I played as. And I was totally anti-LPSO. I would go and hang out with these Japanese players who basically my character was this little girl, and I never spoke English, so they assumed I was Japanese too.
Yep.
And I'd go up to these Americans who would be like, hey, Japanese chicks, let's play with them. And I'd just write little giggles, and they'd drop money and they'd drop weapons to impress me, and I'd take them. And then my friend and he would I'd give the
This
weapons
is a
and
very
money.
creepy story, actually.
Just listen, this is pretty creepy. I'd give the weapons and money to my friend. He'd hold on to them. I'd log on as
You were
my
a hooker,
LPSO
basically.
character. Basically. And then my main character would get all of these awesome items that guys gave me because they thought I was a cute little Japanese girl. So
My Fantasy Star story isn't that good. I used to play solo a lot, mostly offline, because I had SegaNet for a while, but they told me that Fresno was a local number, and I guess it wasn't a local number, and we got charged a big bill, and so she didn't want me on the internet at all. So I had to go to my cousin's house, and
that sucks.
so yeah, I would connect in his room, and he would connect in his grandma's house, who was next door. So we would just play together, even though we were like right next to each other.
That's great.
So that's how I used to play.
My Phantasy Star Online story was Phantasy Star Universe. They have that first month free trial, and I tried that out, and I actually subscribed for about 3 months, and I thought I did the cancellation process, and so I just stopped playing it. And then what I hadn't noticed for like a whole year later was I was still getting charged $20 for
To this day?
month after month.
You're
yeah,
still
and
getting
then
charged?
There was no, not anymore.
Oh, I
I
wish.
finally fixed it, but for like a whole year I was being charged and didn't notice, because then they had one where it was like a happy anniversary Sonic month. So I thought, well, I'll just and they had what I thought was a free month for that or a free week. So I thought I'll just log in for that. Then I noticed I was still be able to hang around like days after. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And I ended up checking my account balance online, and there was a $20 charge, month after month for Fantasy Star Online 2.
Version
Online
2,
Universe.
I think, was $5, I think.
Yeah, it
Something like
was.
that.
We all
That was
thought
so
it was
cheap.
We thought it was ridiculous at the time. I remember my friends and I going,
I wasn't going to buy
$5?
it.
They want us to pay $5? This is just highway robbery. How can they expect us to pay $5? We've already bought the game. This is so dumb. And now people are paying like $10, $15 a month for MMOs, and no one thinks anything of it. But back in the day, yeah.
Those were better days. I tell you.
Days. Rose-tinted glasses, perhaps. Yeah.
Well, moving into Sega news, we hopefully have better days returning. Phantasy Star Online 2 is coming to Vita in 2013
In Japan.
in Japan.
I don't want to give anybody's hopes up when they're listening.
And that's pretty big because it's the first
Console
gaming
like
device
Yeah.
that's not a PC.
I'm excited, man. That Vita needs some games.
Yeah, I got a 3G
Even if it's-
version, so I'm happy for that.
Man, but you have on AT&T's network, you're not going to be playing no games online. But does it get a good connection?
You know what? I haven't tried their 3G service yet. I'm going to do that during San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay. But I don't know. What do you have to say about this, Ruby? You're a big fan.
I am kind of a big fan. A little. Played maybe 8 years of PSO.
Have you played PSO 2?
I have. I managed to sneak into one of the alphas. Not really sneak in, but
it's on alpha, so
sneak's a bad word. Yeah, I played it. I really enjoyed what I played, personally as a PSO fan. So I know that regardless, I'm getting the Japanese version day one.
So what do you think it is? I'm probably gonna buy the Japanese version too. But what do you think it's more like? Is it more Phantasy Star Online, or is it more a mixture of universe with online?
It's definitely not universe, but it's also an evolution of PSO. I would say it's more like, did you guys play Zero, Phantasy Star Zero at all?
Yep.
For the DS?
Yeah.
I'd say it's like Zero meets PSO with some of the better non-combat features of PSU thrown in there. And that's kind of, that was my initial impression, but the combat was just, it blew me away when I first played it. It felt almost like a mini Bayonetta in some ways, and I was like, this is so cool.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I stayed up way too late that night playing that game, but it was so worth it. So
the Vita version looks pretty good too. I'm surprised. It's only 10% complete, so it's not going to come out until 2013. So most likely, most of us are going to play on PC.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool to have the option to play with Vita players and play with your account on the go. Because why waste your time at your house when you can waste the time everywhere?
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, this one you don't have to comment on, Aaron. It's just news, so I'm just gonna put it out there.
Yep.
Phantasy Star Online 2 files hint at a US version of the game, which could mean nothing, because it's just them programming the game. They're just putting random logos. A Sega America logo isn't gonna mean that it's coming out in America.
Mm-hmm.
It just means that they just put it in there for whatever reason. But
it's basically the dark blue Sega America. Sega
yeah,
West.
I was gonna ask him that. Why does Sega of America have a dark blue logo and Sega of Japan have a light blue logo?
I never noticed that until that Phantasy Star Online 2 story went up, and I was like, they're right. It's two blues.
What you guys got against dark blue?
Nothing.
I'm just saying, is there a reason? Is there a reason? Does Sega Japan think they're more pure blue?
I don't know. I don't know what the reason is for any shade differences that might exist between the two Sega logos. I think actually the light blue goes back quite a ways, doesn't it? Like that's I'm thinking back to Genesis Mega Drive days. Like that was still, they've just maintained it. I don't know if there's like some psychological reason that they decided to go with the dark blue.
Trust me, if you guys spend hours talking about game covers, these guys spend hours on the color of the logo.
Oh, don't doubt it, dude. Don't ever doubt it. Whoever came up with the initial Sega logo, that's probably weeks and months of their life on that thing.
They're like, okay, we make it more blue, bolder. We're gonna be a bolder company in the West. All right, that's probably what thinking is. But I don't know. It's not a big a deal. It's just weird. I never noticed it. It's just kind of odd.
Well,
But
speaking of Sega logos, Aaron, did you notice that news story that went out maybe like a month or two ago of some designer who decided to have a go at the Sega logo and like rebrand it just for fun?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I think I did see that.
He added these little, it was like called Sega United or
Yes,
something
I
like
saw
that.
those. I saw those. I'm gonna try and Google that real quick and bring that up for you.
I don't remember
Sega.
this.
It sounded like it
I
was
saw it. Yeah.
yeah, it sounded like a soccer team or something like that.
Yeah, the logo kind of looked like one in some ways too.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I was kind of offended that people thought they could actually make the logo better by just adding more things to it.
It was French, right? Wasn't he French? The guy that
Yeah.
No negative things about the French people. I love the French people.
No, they have a big head.
And
I was.
they
I was
make
actually
shitty
kind of on
logos.
fashion sense, but yeah, that that works.
Because the next bit of news has to do with a French artist, so that's no good.
Hey, that's a nice tie-in.
Oh, yeah. How do you say his name?
Oh, Mobius? Like where
Mobius?
Sonic lives? Sonic's planet?
Is it named after him, or it just happens to have the same nickname?
No, he's been around forever.
Yeah, I know, but it just happens to... I mean, Sonic Team name it after him, or is it just happens?
I don't know.
Oh,
Man, I
never
Mobius
knew.
is based on a Mobius strip.
Oh, okay. There you go.
That's
then.
the infinite loop.
Yeah, I like his art. Panzer Dragoon obviously has a big art style to it, I guess. Everybody loves the art style, and it's easy to see why. But it sucks that he died, but there's nothing much to say about that.
He was also in the comic industry for a while too. Did some Silver
Yeah.
Surfers and such.
Yep. The Silver
But-
Surfer stuff was cool.
Yeah, he was 73, so at least we're not talking about
Oh, wow.
someone who was in their 40s or something like that. But yeah, I when I first read about him passing away, they didn't even mention Panzer Dragoon because of all the stuff he worked on. He did Fifth Element, Tron, Willow, Alien.
It doesn't have it on his wiki either, but he didn't really work on the Panzer Dragoon
No,
series. He worked on a cover, and pretty much the whole art style is inspired by him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Oh,
So-
are we still waiting on we're going to talk about the logo, or you wanted me to move on to Crush 3D?
We could, yeah, let's talk about Crush 3D.
Oh, Crush 3D
Yeah,
is
let's keep this
released.
moving.
$20, GameStop exclusive. Why GameStop exclusive, Ruby?
Why?
I think
Oh, that's
Is it-
another one I don't
Oh,
know.
it's probably
Not-
just a deal, most likely. It's probably most likely I would have just assumed that they're going to advertise it at GameStop more if it's exclusive, and I don't think that's a bad idea. I also think it's a good idea they dropped it $20. But yeah,
Well, they did the same thing Nintendo did with Chibi Robo. There was a DS game that Walmart had exclusively. Plus, there's a Sonic Pinball Party, which Target had exclusively for quite a while, and that
That's
actually
true.
sold really well.
oh, there you go. Then I guess it works. I'm glad that it's getting a chance, the franchise. I liked Crush on the PSP. I haven't gotten the 3DS game yet, but it's just because I've been busy trying to get reviews ready and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, who knows? Maybe the low price point, it might be the first game people pick up because it's a new release at $20. And
Yeah, $20 I'll bite.
Yeah.
$20 is cheap.
I played the demo. It was pretty fun, though. There was this fat kid standing behind me at Target who wanted to play
Just
it
staring
next.
at you. He's like, "Come on, dude."
He looked like he had to use the bathroom. He was so excited to use it, and I had to let him down because it was the first time I was actually getting to play Generations and Crush 3D on the 3DS. So I played through both demos, and he ran off and found some Powerpuff Girl
Don't
toys
you-
or whatever to play with. And
Don't you
came
just
back.
hate it when kids like are trying to make you hurry up when you're trying to play a game on one of those little things, little devices? What do they call them?
the kiosk.
Yeah.
Kiosk.
It must be what going to E3 feels like, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you're like, don't you have to go to school, kid? Get out of here. I'm trying to play a game.
I work for Segabits.
I should just tell them like I should have just told them like, look, you don't have any money, kid. Get out of here.
Oh,
I'm
God.
not gonna buy anything anyway. Stop wasting my time.
It's so cold.
Same
It's so
thing kind of
cold.
happened to me at Target like last year when there's Sonic Generations at the PS3 kiosk, but there's some kid playing a soccer game, so I was like, okay, I'll just wait and go back. And of course, half an hour later, I come back and he's still playing the same soccer game over and over.
I'm sure Aaron's a lot nicer. I'm sure he's not like, do you know who I am?
I just shoved the kids out of the way, guys.
My name
Just
is
to
in these
show.
credits. My name.
Don't stare at me while I'm playing, or I'm gonna punch you right in the face. Is that what you tell them?
I'd
So
be-
I tell them.
I'd be more likely to walk up if it was Generations. Something I'd be like, "Hey, let me tell you about Generations." I just like go into the whole like PR interview phase, I think, and explain to the kid why the game is amazing. That's probably what would happen.
Do you ever find yourself accidentally doing that with people when you're talking about games, just like in private settings?
Not usually. Hasn't happened yet. Maybe someday, and I'll have this crazy moment when I'll go, "Oh God, it's finally happened."
It's good. It's good. It hasn't happened yet. That means you're still young.
Oh, good.
And full of life.
Speaking of some other 3DS games, 2 more Sonic Game Gear games for the 3DS? Question mark. Blast and Labyrinth, 2 of the best Sonic games for the Game Gear.
Oh my God, Labyrinth, game of the year,
Beautiful.
man.
Beautiful.
Love that one.
This is like the best way to get Sonic back on top. I
No,
think.
Thankfully, not officially announced, but rated
No.
by the Australian
I thought they already came out.
board.
Okay,
No.
they're rated for the. Okay, I don't know. I think those. I mean, why not? Somebody wants them. I've noticed that I posted it on Facebook as a kind of like a joke, like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, look at these games. They look pretty great." Some people were like, "I love Blast," like kind of offended that we didn't like it.
Huh.
I
So,
bought Labyrinth last year at a morbid curiosity
I guess
just to see
people
what
like
it's like.
it. Probably just because they're retro titles, most likely. But whatever. I mean, if
I
you
think
want to
it's
buy
an
them,
experiment to see if Sonic fans will buy anything.
but I mean, how much are they going to be? Like $3?
Probably.
Not gonna
I
be a
mean,
big
even
deal.
if they're
Triple
even
Troubles.
coming out.
Yeah, I think Triple Trouble is $5.
Oh, this is the next bit of news I really want to talk about.
What is
Triple
it?
Trouble's well
The,
worth
the
$5.
Sega, Namco, Capcom project teaser website.
Oh, that's crazy.
Have you heard about this, Aaron? Of course you heard about this, Aaron.
No, I've not heard a thing.
Oh,
what are
in
you talking
Japan. Okay, well, that was sarcasm. I didn't even get it. This is the first time I've
No.
been tricked by sarcasm. Okay, I have a pretty good track record. I like to trick Shigs with my sarcasm. That's why. Well, supposedly they're gonna have a project together. I don't know what it's gonna be, but they're dropping like teases on their website where it's like a chromosome with like pixels on it, and I guess the shape is supposed to resemble a character. I guess that's what everybody on NeoGAF thinks, at least. One of them
It's-
looks like Bayonetta, at least. I know that much. The black
Yeah,
one.
it's hard to say. I mean, you look at one and it could be someone, but then I compare the colors and it just doesn't match up.
Yeah. So you
It's
never
kind of
know.
like it's
think
kind of like Ooh La La in the middle, bottom.
That's the most
but-
brilliant way just to see what fans want. Like,
Yeah,
just put
man,
like
it-
random blobs of color, and they're like, "Oh my god,
Yeah, I've
It's-
been guessing for months.
it's Big the
sometimes
Cat!
what
I'm
it
buying
is.
this game." Day one.
Big's fishing adventure, right?
Yep, I hope so. It's
God,
just
I can't wait for that.
it's a fishing game with Capcom, Namco, and Sega characters.
It's big fishing for other characters. They're just floating in the water, and he fishes them out and eats them.
And then makes great quotes. 40 hours plus of cutscenes in the game.
I'd buy that. I'd also buy this
Yeah.
game if it turns out to be good. I hope it doesn't turn into some sort of I don't know, dating sim or something.
Well, say the topic.
What, Sega Namco Capcom
I
project?
thought we were
That's what I'm
about the
talking
next
about.
one. Okay, sorry. I thought you were talking about the Shiny Project one.
But that is a game that has turned out to be a letdown, at least in what fans have been building it up to be, because some people were thinking it was going to be the return of Shining Force. But
Well,
the next
it's
next Shining project might end up being a browser game. That's the news.
Yeah, that was one of the news bits, I guess. But I don't know. I don't think that's bad. I think some browser games do pretty well, and I don't think we're gonna have this game in America. But since it seems like Sega has kind of abandoned this Shiny series in the West, Aaron, no comment.
Have they? I don't know. I think what was it, the last Shining game that came out here in the West was PS2. Is that right?
Yeah. I remember Chris reviewed it way back in Sega Nerds. Yeah, it was pretty good. He said I haven't played it, but I just think they didn't sell that well. So I think Valkyrie Chronicles has more of a chance to sell than the new Shiny series does.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's my opinion on that. So why waste time? I guess when you could bring another Valkyria Chronicle game over. But that's just my opinion on that. On the Shining Force franchise.
Mhm.
But as a browser game, I would play it. Why not?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
It's not gonna hurt me.
No.
Oh,
It's just gonna hurt the fans who are thinking they're gonna get like a Shining Force return, which
I don't know,
I didn't.
right?
Shining has
Go-
become something so different from what it used to be. I doubt they're going to get anything they're
That's also
pleased
true.
with, at least in the States.
And I think Ike made a big old point because a lot of people were attacking Sega for changing the franchise. And I think Ike did pulled as many sales numbers as he could, and he proved that the new games in Japan actually sell a lot better than the old series did. So I guess it's a positive for Sega Japan to change
Yeah.
it.
That's pretty much a Japanese series, you know.
Yeah.
I think Phantasy Star is a good parallel to that, because you look
Yeah.
at the original Phantasy Stars on the Genesis, like the old Shining Force games, and they were totally different from the real-time combat that the series has evolved to since then. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
interesting to see that
There's
maybe
still
as
there's still a
franchises-
big fan base of Phantasy Star fans that want an
for the old
RPG.
for the old
Yes.
style, yep, there definitely is.
Yeah. I would love a Phantasy Star 5, I'll tell you that.
That would be insane.
Yeah, but how would you even bring a game like that to new consoles, Shigs? I mean, the game was turn-based, and it doesn't seem like turn-based games are getting very... I mean, they're not as popular as they used to.
Well, it would be more like to have a single-player story-focused Phantasy Star than just an MMO, in my opinion.
Okay, there you go. I like that. I like the Phantasy Star Online universe.
Well, I do
So,
too.
I'm okay with both of them. All right. You want to move on to the next topic, Barry?
Yeah, let's move on. The next topic is Yakuza Black Panther 2 demo released on Japanese PSN store. Another piece of news that doesn't really affect us because I don't think any of us can
I
download
haven't-
and play it.
Yeah, I haven't. You could download it, but I haven't
you can?
played it. No.
So what is Black Panther
Yeah, I have
all
a Japanese account. I could download.
It's basically a side story to. Well, it's like a side game. It kind of has to do with the Yakuza universe. Only it's like it's new character, new everything. I think it's not. I don't think it's a new area. It's a different area. It's not Kayamocho or whatever it's called. What's it called in Yakuza? The town?
Kamurocho is the correct name
Yeah.
for the primary town, which is based on Kabukicho, which is the actual part of Tokyo.
Yeah. It's based on I think Okinawa or I'm not sure if I'm saying it right.
Okinawa, yeah.
Yeah, that's where it's based. That game is based off.
So it's not based off the King of Wakanda with Storm as the co-op partner
What do you mean?
collecting vibranium. Never mind. It's a comic book joke.
Oh, I do read comic books. I just didn't get the joke. Sorry. Yakuza Black Panther 2. Well, it has to do with some other character, and it's not really Kazuma, and it's on the PSP, which is even kind of weird right now to release a game on the PSP when the Vita's out.
Yeah.
But it's Japan only because the first one hasn't came out, and I don't think it's gonna come out. So next.
Next. Well, this one actually affects us. We got a better look at the bosses in Sonic 4 Episode 2 with some new screens. I believe there is the Sylvania Castle boss, which is the Egg Serpent Leaf, and there is a Metal Sonic race in White Park, which does not look white in that screen. It looks like a carnival. So
Plus, Metal Sonic ends up as a homing attack now.
yeah, good for him.
Pretty sweet.
Good for him. I'm proud of him. No, he could homing attack in Sonic Adventure DX, couldn't he? When you played as him.
I think he was just a Sonic reskin, wasn't he, pretty much?
Yeah.
So I think so.
We need more reskins and everything.
See, my copy of Sonic Adventure that I got all the emblems on was the Dreamcast one, and it wasn't the limited edition or whatever, so I got all the emblems and I got nothing. So
Oh, wasn't
the
that a
best
letdown?
kind of reward.
I was like, oh, yeah.
That was a
No,
letdown.
Now, as
Yeah.
Sonic's fighting Serpent Leaf, does he start singing "Means Green Mother from Outer Space"? The song from Little Shop of Horrors. Never mind.
Don't explain it. Don't explain
Don't
it.
explain it. We got it. First screenshots of Hell Yeah get released. Well,
Oh,
I
hey,
got it.
wait. I wanted to say about Sonic 4 Episode 2. I had one more thing to say.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, go on.
No, I was done. No, I think it was really refreshing to see a new boss and something that huge in the first stage. I mean, after episode
Yeah.
one, which I did like. I'm not you know uh, lying in front of Aaron. I actually did like episode one, but when you get to that first boss, it was kind of like it was fun to see for the first time, and then it wasn't as exciting as it could have been, basically. But this one, I mean, if you're seeing that for the first boss, and we haven't seen the other two or three yet, then I'm excited to see what's to come.
But it's like watching like the first boss in Sonic 4 was like rewatching the Terminator 2. Yeah, it's cool and everything, but I've already seen it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I like the way that they're actually expanding it. I think that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to 2. I actually liked the first one. I thought it had some clever parts.
And I wanted to ask Aaron, weren't you the one that made it so that Sonic runs off screen in episode one?
I don't know if I can take credit for that personally, but I might have been the one that pitched the idea and said, "Guys, I think we should do this," and then it ended up happening with the support of many people at some point. Yeah.
Nice, because I have the iOS version, and Sonic always hits the end of the screen because that's not the revised version. And I think of you every time he hits
It
the
just-
end of the screen and he
it
doesn't
just
move
feels-
forward.
It feels a little incomplete, doesn't it? I just like that
It
feeling
does.
of Sonic whoosh right off the screen, and that's a nice sort of completion moment. I think.
It's such a small little thing, and I mean, I know they're making a lot of big strides in episode two, but I think those little things mean so much. It was a special moment. Anyway, moving on. First screenshots of Hell Yeah get released. So what do you guys think? Hell yeah or hell no?
Hell no, no, it looks great. I am actually surprised. I think you said it best last week when we only had the logo that usually when companies release like tease a game with like a weird title, like that it's trying to be all like what I mean, over the top. Usually not very
Yeah.
good game.
Yeah, just to fill Aaron in, basically I said that Hell Yeah kind of looked like either it was trying too hard to be kind of like subversive and over the top goofy just to get like the Rayman Origins fans on their side. But I don't know, after seeing the screens, it actually does look like a pretty awesome game. So I
it
take
looks
back
beautiful.
that.
Seems
It
to
does
have a
look
little bit of the like the Rayman Origins influence on it. The 2D, flat
HD.
with the quality.
I mean, Rayman
It has
Origins.
a quality look to it.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, Rayman Origins isn't the first one to do that kind of
No.
thing. So
No, it's
can't give it.
from Jim.
But I'm
is the-
saying it has that kind of style. is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
I'm impressed. It looks good.
I like the look of it.
what do you, Aaron? Have you played it?
Haven't played it. I have heard
Oh,
nothing
man.
but good things about it, though. The screenshots looked really vibrant. That's what I
So-
liked when I looked at the screens.
So, Aaron, let's say today, right now, you want to play Hell Yeah. Can you just walk into Sega and say, "Bring me the controller, give me the chair, and bring on the big screen TV. I'm playing tonight."
No, I wouldn't take it home. If I wanted to play it, I mean, I'm sure I could probably talk to people, provided that I wasn't like busy with other things. This week is going to be all Yakuza, but maybe once things die down a bit, I could probably ask around and.
That's a pretty
Check it
good
out.
job that you could tell people this whole week I'm working on promoting a game about Yakuzas.
Sort of.
They
Yeah,
kill zombies.
I had a thread that was titled something like "How you can support Yakuza in the West," and I looked at it, I was like, "Oh, that wording just sounds a little weird." But
Right.
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Sega's a really fun job. People kind of know that I was a fan, and so that sometimes it's cool when you get asked for your input on stuff. And what do you think about this? What would your old fan self have said about this if you'd seen it? And I really appreciate that. A lot of people sometimes come and talk to me like that.
Do you think your opinion changes on games now that Sega releases? Like, do you see them differently because you kind of like work in early
Did you work on them?
stages?
Yeah. I'd like to say that it probably wouldn't change, but I know that it naturally does because you see them from like a really early stage. Like I remember seeing Dead Souls when it was just called Of the End, and we didn't have a U.S. name for it yet, and we knew it was coming out, and this was long before the earthquake happened and all that. So I remember
Yeah.
playing it and being like, okay. or playing Sonic 4 even, way back, playing Generations before Generations was even called Generations, and having those moments where I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. Or alternatively, when you're just like, oh, this could be cool. So yeah, when you see a game from its infancy to its release, I think naturally you have a different viewpoint on it. I've learned to appreciate that early games typically look nothing like the final product. And
Yeah.
I remember seeing that with some games where I was like, this game, it doesn't look so good. And then we get to launch and I'd be like, wow, this game is like, it's gone from, I would give it like a 5 or a 6. It's gone to like an 8 or a 9. What happened in the last like 5 months? And so you learn that a lot of polish happens at the very end, those final crunch time periods when the devs really, really push it and they do a lot for it.
Nice. Well,
So, yeah.
moving on, we have Total War Battles Shogun, another iOS Android game announced. And
Yeah, that was another
first
game.
screens-
I should have put that on top. I'm sorry.
Oh, there was one big day where they just announced a bunch of mobile titles.
It's because Sega had like a press event, I guess, and they probably had a, what do they call it again?
It was a GDC. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
digital.
They have like a contract they sign usually where you can't talk about the game until a certain day. Then Sega just like unleashes the floodgates.
Yep,
Mhm.
an embargo is what it's called.
Yeah, embargo. Sorry.
I like the floodgates, but
I mean, we could call it, I like floodgates.
Yeah.
Floodgates.
Open the gates.
So I could just imagine them, like the community team, saying, "All right, you guys could post it," and then just like refreshing the page and just laughing, like, "This is awesome." This game looks pretty good actually. I'm probably gonna buy it because I usually buy a bunch of games on my mobile phone and I never play them just because they're like $1, $3.
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm such a bad customer.
You're an
I'll give it a try.
I'm a good customer usually because if the games suck, I won't complain about them because I never play them.
because he's never played it.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you think about
Yeah, that
the
one
game,
looks
Barry?
I think it looks cool. I think it's nice that they're giving Total War kind of I don't know if it's going to be a casual game, but it looks much more simple than the PC releases. So I'll try to download it if my first generation iPod Touch will allow it. But
Most likely not.
yeah, so far Sega games have started to go 4.0 and above, so I can't. But
You gotta upgrade that iPod Touch, man.
no, I got to get the new iPad. That's what I need to do.
It's
It's
true.
out soon, isn't it? That's really
Yeah,
soon.
it's coming out soon. But I was actually surprised Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing still plays on my first gen. And even though that's a full 3D game, and you're racing multiple characters, I can't download Brick People. So I don't know how that works. There's got to be, I don't know, someone's messing with me.
Sega does,
But-
man. Sega does.
They knew that you don't have a new phone, so they're like, "Break people, Barry can't play."
Mm-mm. No,
Nuh-uh.
he's gotten spoiled. He needs to buy a new one.
Yeah, he's been hanging out for that for way too long. He's playing Sonic Super. I mean, what's that game called again? Sonic Sega All Star Racing?
Yeah,
No way.
no, I don't deserve it.
It's actually a pretty good game.
It is.
On the phone?
Yeah,
I don't have it on Android. Sorry, guys.
yeah. It's like all the releases for that game were
I'm
pretty
assuming
solid.
it's coming soon since they already released Super Monkey Ball, and I didn't think they were going to do that. So I'll just wait it out on my Android. I'll just stand in the shadows and watch you guys play for now.
Well, it's actually, it's better than the DS version, which surprised me. I mean, you don't get all the characters and all the tracks, but even then, it's graphics are a lot better, the music's a lot better.
And it's cheaper.
Oh. I don't know who developed it. Do you know who developed that, Aaron?
Ooh, not off the top of my head. It's a totally different team, but
It wasn't
I remember
Sumo.
seeing it. I don't know. I can ask around and find out.
Well, tell them they did a great job.
Yeah, we'll do. Thank you. Pass it on.
Tell them to bring it to
let's-
Android too. Sorry.
Oh,
I forgot
well,
about that.
I'll
but
sneak
yeah,
that suggestion in there.
see, I got
Also
some
just-
good news and I've got some bad news. They love it, but it's not on Android. What can we do?
They would love
And then
it
they're
more.
like, Android, what's that? Nah, we're good.
Nah.
Okay, we're
Let's see.
gonna talk about Sonic Dimensions.
All right.
Something that's not true.
Oh yes.
Azuka
Yeah.
said that it's a hoax, or at least he laughed and shook his head.
He laughs at everything though.
And
Dimensions. No.
he commented on Sonic's future as well. So basically, he said Sonic Dimensions laughs. I think it's a complete hoax. Laughs.
Yep.
I'm gonna be like all surprised if like Sega turns out to like have a plot twist where they're making a Sonic game called Sonic Dimensions with somebody else, and they don't tell him until the last minute, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm surprised,"
I laughed.
and he starts laughing.
I don't know. Did you ever think
I
that?
think I wouldn't laugh as much as be completely ticked off at that.
Yeah, that's true. Did you ever think that that sounded like an actual game that Sega would make, Aaron?
Dimensions.
Yeah.
I remember reading the initial rumor report about that thing and laughing pretty hard myself. I mean, we come up with names for all sorts of games, and the thing about Sonic is that we've done so many names in the past that there's only so many like adjectives you can use with Sonic before you're going to run out, right? So like I remember this was the issue with Sonic Colors back when we were trying to decide what was the name for Sonic Colors, and we're like, what are good names for Sonic? He's in space, and then he's going around the different worlds, and oh man. And there were a lot of interesting discussions before it ended up being Colors. So I don't know. I mean, you could say there's going to be a game called Sonic and just insert whatever,
Yeah.
And it'll sound fine.
Yeah, and like
Insert word here.
it'll work eventually. Like, and if Sonic goes on for 100 years, like there's going to be some team 50 years from now that's like, oh God, guys, there's no more words in the English language for us to pick. What are we going to do? And then it becomes, that game that someone 50 years ago had been like, someday they'll do this. So maybe by simple right of lack of words, it'll happen someday. But probably not for some time if Sonic continues. As to Dimensions, yeah.
Dimensions also doesn't sound edgy enough. Sonic has to have edgy titles, like Sonic Rush.
Yeah, or if they run out of names, they just repeat the same name. Like we have Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 and the original Sonic the Hedgehog,
or Sonic Rush Adventure, where you just mash them all up in there.
Well, believe it or not, there's actually a conspiracy theorist online who thinks that the reason why there isn't a Sonic Adventure 3 is because Yuji Naka owns he invented
the adventure.
He invented the concept of Sonic going on an adventure. And so since he doesn't work there anymore, since he doesn't work for Sega, they can't make Sonic Adventure 3. They can make games like Sonic 06 where it has the same concepts.
It's against the law.
But if they call it Sonic Adventure 3, Yuji Naka will sue Sega. And this actually turned out to be the same guy who was pushing that Ring Edge was going to be the next Sega console.
Oh God, the Ring Edge guy. Oh man.
Don't you love that guy?
Dude, wasn't he the guy that made like 5 fake websites all supporting him as factual evidence?
Yes.
And then linked to them all. And it's like,
yes, and then Sharky joined his forum and told him off, and then he took Sharky's account and started posting as him, saying how much of a mistake Sharky made and
oh my gosh,
how jealous we were because he got all this exclusive info.
That is sad.
Yeah.
He also hit Dreamcast Junkyard really hard. He kept commenting on things and leaving emails for us. It was kind of scary or sad. I don't know which one.
Sharky says that he's been at it since like 2004. Man, this guy has a career of this.
Wow, that's like 8 years he's been trying to convince people this Ring Edge thing.
It's not even Ring Edge. I think it started before the Ring Edge as Dreamcast 2. But when Ring Edge came back out, he started coming back with his
that guy. I remember him posting on the Sega forums, and we're like, "What the heck is this?" And then we're like, "No, Ring Edge is like the arcade stuff. This isn't a console. What is he like?" And we look through his like factual evidence and exclusive information with these fake people that don't exist at Sega, and we're like, "What the hell?"
Oh man!
And he just ran with it, man. That guy just went on for months.
And there was people that believed him. That was the sad part.
It looked factual. Like it looked like he's got legit sources and actual people commenting, but like all of it was completely made up. And when we realized that, we're like, oh my gosh, this guy needs to go outside and get a hobby or something. I don't know.
Did you ever contact him and say that it's not true? Or did you just let him run with it?
I think someone else on the team might have contacted him at some point and was like, hey man, listen, this stuff is false, or it's fake information. We see what you're doing. You can post whatever rumors you want in the rumors section of the forums. That's cool. Do that. But he was going around to all the different forums posting it as fact. Like he seriously believed this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, being a Sega employee, you have to be nice to people, but I think at a certain point there's a line that's crossed where you just have to say, dude, no.
And
Come
yeah,
on.
it was infringing upon the rules at that point. Like, and he's posting the stuff that doesn't belong in another forum, and he's repeat posting it after we're asking him to stop, and that's borderline spam. So there's different ways you can kind of go around it and just say the rules state you keep it in the rumor form and you're good, but don't post it elsewhere.
Right. I'd like to think you're saying all this while there's a Ring Edge console sitting next to you, and you're just eyeing it right now.
You're just barely you're just like putting your index finger, and just wiping the top of the console and smiling. It's like, yep, that's right. I have everybody believing me.
We could get Sharky to do a drawing of that. I'd like to see that. You're twirling the phone cord with one finger as if you still have phone cords, and the other finger you're just kind of like.
Just that'll be the thing, right? It'll be the best console ever, and it'll only connect via dial-up.
Yeah.
Oh, man, can't wait! You guys are gonna bring it back old school.
Hey, I'd buy it.
Your parents yell at you to get off the phone line when you're playing PSO. That was my youth. I don't know about you guys.
We don't even. I don't think I even have a home phone anymore, man.
No.
I don't. I just use a cell phone at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Sick. I mean, it's good, and why pay for home phone? I don't see the point. But 80% of Jet Set. Well, there's different percentages, different sites. So, huh?
Jason, I believe we already talked about that.
Did we?
Earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't get to say my question.
Oh, okay.
About it. So I'm going to say it right now. Just tell me that Rob Zombie's not going to be in there. That's all I want to know. I don't want to hear Rob Zombie when I'm playing the game. He's like, that one song we all heard in the 90s in every game. Dracula, whatever it was.
Dracula, yeah, that's what it was.
That was in the Matrix.
It was in the Matrix. It was in Twisted Metal in one of those games.
Yeah, Rob Zombie. Yeah.
Rob Zombie gets around, especially in the early 2000s.
Oh god, Dracula was in everything.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Every game.
I wonder how much he would want for that, like a license for that. It's like, he's like, I don't know, $2 million. Probably sitting right now, thinking it out. So, do you guys contact artists like these, like Rob Zombie, to have his song again? Or will you guys say, that's not an important song?
Probably depends. I think in this case, the team for Jet Set, and just to preface this, I'm not on the Jet Set team, so I don't know all the details that they've gone through.
You're on the Yakuza Detzels right now, so just everybody knows.
So I know, I mean, I talked with some of the guys. I talked with Ben, who you guys are probably very familiar with now, after his last interview, and the discussion was sort of like, what's one of the really important things to do when we bring Jet Set over, and I think all of us, especially myself and Julian on the community team, were like, the music, dude, you've got to get as much of the music as you can, because that is the entire game right there. Like, it's a great game, but if the music is not there, then it's a Crazy Taxi situation all over again, and you don't want that. So get as much of the original music as you can.
Crazy Taxi.
Man,
I'd like to.
You opened a can of worms with that.
But it's a fair point, right? Like, the music is so important, and I think it's a good lesson that has kind of been learned, is that you can re-release a game, but the nostalgia of an old game isn't necessarily just in the gameplay. It's also in what you hear. It's also in the sounds, and it's crazy how powerful that can be sometimes when you're like, if I'm not hearing, a certain band in Crazy Taxi when I play it, suddenly it's no longer Crazy Taxi to me.
Offspring, Bad Religion, I think, were the bands.
Yeah, when it starts up and you hear, like all the.
It wasn't
stuff.
there.
Now that game ruined my experience as a youth, because I remember this one time when I went on like an official date. We went to the cinema, and somebody like left the door open, and that game was in the back. So all you hear is the music from Crazy Taxi, and I can remember myself thinking, man, I really want to play that game right now. Just hearing those songs, I'm just like, I just want to get out of here, play the game.
Oh man,
waste all my quarters.
Well, it's good that they got. Oh, go on.
Okay, one suggestion I'd have is we have a Ollie King who that wasn't really. I don't know if it ever came out in arcades in America or if
it did.
It was pretty.
Yeah, we have it in our cinema
really
place.
seen it. But I know it never made it to home console, and it's doubtful it probably ever will. I'm wondering if they could ever put the soundtrack from that, which is all Hideki Naganuma music, into the Jet Set Radio.
I mean, I don't know if at this point it might be too late, because it takes a lot of time to get stuff like that locked in, and they've been working for a long time on Jet Set. So it's probably, realistically speaking, too late to do something like that on a title like Jet Set. I don't even know when Jet Set's launching, personally, but I think there's always good suggestions. Naganuma-san does really awesome stuff. I really appreciate his music.
He is my favorite music director on Sega.
Yeah, some really cool stuff.
I was gonna ask one more thing.
Yeah.
Okay, you know how I never understood why developers don't do this. So I'll just ask you the idea. Okay, you know how when you buy a game for 360, you could put a custom soundtrack in it, but when you put the custom soundtrack, it obviously just plays over everything when you put it on the 360. So why don't they just have like an in-game feature where you can select the tracks and then it plays while you're playing, but it's like kind of like in the background, you know?
Oh, right.
Programmed to be like the experience. That way nobody has to fight about copyright issues ever again.
Yeah. That one is probably just a matter of importance to the development team. Generally, the way it goes is like, imagine that you have 2 months to build a house, and you've got your team of people. You're like, all right, we're going to build this house.
Man. Chocolate water fountain is the first thing.
Well, that's what you think, and then it starts raining, and you're like, damn, why didn't we build walls? That would have been a good thing, huh?
I'm drinking chocolate milk to understand what's going on.
That's kind of the point I guess I'm making, is that there are certain key things that you have to get done, and that you'll be told these are the key things. You have to build walls, you have to build a roof, you have to make sure you get the couch in and the TV and the stand for this. And by the end, you're like, it'd be really awesome if we had that cool extra sound system. But by the time that the second month is coming up, you're like, we got to get done in like 2 days here, and we still haven't finished all the windows on the second floor and this and that. And so it's probably just, it's in simplest explanation, it's a feature that's probably really cool, but I doubt that most teams have the time to add it in, or the thought of let's do this instead of something else that would be really cool for the game instead. So
yeah, well,
but it's a cool idea. No, like don't get me wrong, it's a really cool idea.
I thought you were gonna say, that's the shittiest idea I ever heard, George.
Dude, what is this crap, man?
I'm saying, I can't believe that crap idea. I'm saying it would have worked wonders for Crazy Taxi. I mean, people still complain. I already know people complain for everything. Like, actually, we get complaint emails, and we don't even. I mean, they think like that. I guess we're part of Sega or something, so we get a bunch of complaint emails sometimes.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah, it sucks kind of. I don't even want to read them. I just delete them. I'm like, anything that has shit new on the title, usually I delete it. Just because they just yell at us now. Because I told them they shouldn't be spamming Facebook, and a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah, please don't spam Facebook.
Yeah, we stick up for you.
Team. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Our fourth community team.
I love what Kelly did last week, where somebody was complaining, are you going to just have a tree branch for concept art next week? Then we have a tree.
Actually, yes.
How do you feel about that? Some people, I'm not going to say names on the podcast, thought that you guys were immature and kind of like invading people's privacy. I don't think so, but what do you think about that?
I think if you post on a public Facebook page with your own Facebook account, then it's pretty obvious that your name can be read by any other person that looks at that post. So I think in terms of privacy, it's essentially the same it's the same in that sense as it would be the fact when you posted. That was the moment that you're like, okay, I'm cool with other people seeing my name, and that's kind of the end of it, in my opinion.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that was my argument.
Yeah, he didn't have to go and make a witty comment on your guys' Facebook. He was let's be honest, he was trying to get a rise out of you guys, like trying to get you guys angry, and so what? You guys took a little jab at him, and it was funny, to be honest.
I think I think it's actually good for Sega to have a personality to it. Like, why was Sega popular in the early 90s? Because they were the people that weren't afraid to do and say things that Nintendo was not about to do or say. And as a result, Sega became much more human. They became like the cool underdog that you were rooting for. Right? I think in many ways it's good for Sega to maintain that sort of personality that is, wow, they do some things you might not expect, but it's funny, it's witty, and it's, and the most important thing, of course, is that like there's no actual issues or harm caused. Like this guy posted on the Facebook page, very obviously putting his real name out there. So as mentioned, I think as we all agree, at that point, he made the call to put his name there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as though Kelly looked at his username, copy pasted it into Google, and then searched back and tried to find his real name and then made the article.
And it's done in good humor.
that site that accused you guys actually did that to me. They actually Googled me, put my full name on their website, which I don't care because what do I care? I mean,
but it's still the idea of it is.
I'm too old to be kidnapped already.
Yeah.
I'm already past my prime. Sorry, guys. Can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I'd say don't worry about it too much. And like in cases like that, it was done in good humor as well. Like it wasn't done in a spiteful way. They weren't trying to like get back at this guy. They were just saying like, actually, it's kind of funny you mentioned it, but it really is a tree this week. And I think
it's funny though.
yeah,
it's like
you
wait,
can laugh at it.
They had this like I thought they had it like they called Sonic Team, hurry up, draw a tree, we have something coming.
It was really in the pipeline. That's the best part is it was really in the pipeline for the next week.
So the guy guessed it.
He actually guessed it. And that was the funniest part is Kelly laughed. She's like, this guy commented like this, but the reality is, look at this. It's a tree stump.
I guess he's a fan artist. So I guess I'm pretty sure he doesn't take it too harsh.
Oh no.
No, I hope not. I mean, I'm sure certainly if he did, he could contact us. And I know Kelly has stated that that's the intent is to be kind of playful and not to offend in any way. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, so you want to move? Well, we're
Let's see. We are at Sega. Well, we talked about Sega having no plans on releasing another Episode 4 title.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
They may or may not.
Oh, they're teasing. Sega's on their teasing mode for the Dreamcast titles.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be honest, their little teases have been kind of inaccurate almost. Kind of like, because they didn't like Mike Hayes say that they were going to launch 20 titles by summer last year. So
yep.
It didn't happen. So I think I don't know. I think it's all up in the air so far for them. I think it's a lot of fan feedback.
Mm-hmm.
All that Shenmue Facebook spamming. It's working wonders, right?
Yeah.
Right, Ruby? Working wonders, huh? All I'll say is that much as I loved Shenmue, like I beat that game 4 times on the Dreamcast, and then I beat Shenmue 2 a couple times on the Xbox.
Something controversial is coming up right now.
Here we go.
I hate that game.
No, I loved it. I really loved Shenmue.
I hate Fukusai. I don't get it.
I feel like it's good to be passionate about something, right? But if you want to look at the right way to be passionate about something, then you look to the what, in my opinion, what the Valkyria guys are doing, where they're trying to focus their efforts to sort of direct people towards a certain point, a certain goal, which is let's get Sega's attention, but let's not make them mad at us. Because the thing is, like, if you go yell at somebody and you're like, dude, I want a hot dog, but you're like screaming at the dude, like absolutely screaming, and he doesn't even sell hot dogs. Chances are he's not going to give you a hot dog. However, if you walk up and say, like, you're like, hey, I'm looking to get a hot dog. The guy's like, oh, you're down the street. There's a vendor. You're nice and polite. And as a result, the guy's nice and polite back to you. That's the point I think a lot of the Shenmue fans that are so passionate need to understand is that it's great to be passionate, but do it in the right way. Don't just spam every single post on Facebook because you're so excited and you think that that's going to get it. That's not going to get the game for you, You got to do it in the right and proper method, I think.
Where's Shenmue 3, Aaron? Come on. Where is
He's holding it. He's holding it.
Oh, God, here we go.
It's
you just jealous.
Yeah, you have to be a normal person, otherwise you come off as some sort of freak.
Well, you can be passionate too. I mean,
absolutely.
Fine,
but when you start screaming at people, that's freaky, man.
For example, I'm gonna go to the Sega Facebook page right now and let's take a look. Like this just as an example, it's like when we go to the page, it's the posts that are completely unrelated to Shenmue when they drop the comments. Like
I've noticed
Yakuza.
Titles.
I bet we can find it here.
I bet Yakuza seems to be a pretty big target for the fan base. Like they think that like for some reason if there's a Yakuza game there's no money for the Shenmue franchise. Oh,
here we go. Download the Yakuza Dead Souls ending theme free on Destructoid. First comment, needs more Shenmue.
This is madness.
That must be hard.
Now, I hate to break it to this guy. I won't say his real name, but you can go see it on the front of our Facebook page. Like,
you don't want to.
This guy says, yeah, I don't need an article, but this guy that says needs more Shenmue, right? And it has 3 likes apparently.
I liked it right now.
Actually, he's got 4.
Actually, I'm in somebody else's account, so whoever's computer's account this is like that comment.
I'm tempted to like it myself. No, never mind. So what this guy probably doesn't know is that Nagoshi-san, who is pretty much the head of the team that's creating the Yakuza games right now, actually worked on Shenmue. Like a lot of the stuff that was in
a lot of people at Sega worked at Shenmue. Yeah. I mean, there's a huge list.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. That Yakuza basically is a more improved Shenmue, I think.
Well,
It's
I don't think
evolution
improved.
in some ways.
Some
Yeah.
ways.
Some ways, yeah.
I would say improved is like it implies that everything is better. I think it's a different direction than Shenmue. Shenmue is sort of more passive and more like you look at the world and experience the world, and Yakuza is more of like action and violence,
Yeah,
but still retains the level of depth that Shenmue had in terms of like getting to know people, and you see them throughout the series and you can explore all these different buildings. But it's just funny to me that people want Shenmue so much, but they don't necessarily understand that a lot of the stuff that was great about Shenmue actually is existing right now in Yakuza as a series, and people turn a blind eye to it because it's not called Shenmue, but the same people that made Shenmue went on to make Yakuza. So it's like, at least check it out. Give it a shot is my response to those guys.
I have to agree. I'm a pretty big fan of the Yakuza series, so I don't think. Okay, let me just say this as a fact, and you could agree with it.
Mhm.
Just because Nagoshi has his own team and they're making their own games doesn't mean that this is taking money away from Yu Suzuki making his game. There's
Absolutely right.
there's that's not how these kind of companies work.
And
This
Yu Suzuki's got his own
studio now.
yeah, he's got his own team at this point.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not that it's not a huge team, but he has a team, and he said I guess they're bringing that Shinmu game. It's probably not going to come to the West, but they have a cell phone game coming out, so
Yep. The mobile
at least
game.
it's an active franchise, which is better than nothing.
Yeah.
There's always hope when there's an active franchise, so they should probably support that instead of typing on Facebook,
Give
yelling
us
at
Shenmue.
people.
Yeah, that's the thing is like if they could organize a little better, I think it would be awesome if they were kind of organized. And some people have tried to their credit. Not everyone that wants to see Shenmue come back is necessarily crazy and spamming us, but I think it's just good to focus your efforts in a way that Sega will be more receptive to want to hear them. And spamming every post about Yakuza or on the Sega Facebook page with "Oh my God, Shenmue" in all capitals.
That-
Oh my
Not
Sega-
the best way to do it.
Every day I'm just gonna wake up, get on the Sega Bits Facebook, and first comment
check
everything. Needs more
Oh,
Shenmue
man.
3. Like anything.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Aaron. I'm just scrolling through here, and it's like,
You see- look at all
hey,
the-
everybody,
all the-
check out
painful.
the zombie devastation in Yakuza, and then it says give us Shenmue, and then I scroll down one more, and it's like, it's just every single one. A spiral ton of new missions. Yes, Spiral Knights has new missions. Shenmue 3, please.
Shenmue. Yeah, right.
Like
So, yeah.
it almost, and I'm not doubting that they like the game, the first two games, but I don't know, man. It makes me wonder if they actually even played Shenmue. I don't know.
I kind of wonder that too. Like, did you actually play and beat the whole game, and have you played it and beaten it recently? Because those rose-tinted glasses can be pretty thick sometimes. It was a great game. Don't get me wrong.
It was a great game, but there's very how can I say it? The cameras are. I mean, I've always try to play it to keep up to date with it because I really like the game, but you could tell it's aged very. I know the hardcore fans will ignore it. Like the controls are weird now, since it's just
You could
the way
say
it's
it was a great game for its time.
Yeah.
Really.
I still like the game, and I still think it's a great game, but I see its flaws, and I'm not saying. I mean, you know what I mean?
They become more. I think the flaws of the game become more clear as time goes on, because back then the graphics sort of made you put them aside. Same I think in some ways with Sonic Adventure, where it came out recently and all the critics kind of like it got slammed a number of times by the reviewers. And I think some of the points they made were like, back then when the Dreamcast came out, you were so amazed by the graphics you didn't even care. Like, this thing is amazing. And that experience, because the graphics were so great and it was top of the line, made that for you. I think Shenmue was kind of the same. Still a really good game, but you see the flaws now because you're like, oh, it doesn't look quite as good by today's standards.
I think that's also probably this is going to be kind of weird for me to say because the cells weren't up to par, but I think Sega's biggest hyped game in history of Sega, I think. Because I remember when that game came out, it was like everywhere.
It was huge.
Yeah, I remember I was excited for it because I opened up my official Dreamcast magazine, and when I saw, the first screenshots, I was like, okay, this is something I need right here, Virtual Fighter RPG, the concept. And I was like, this is what I need. I was sold. They took my money right there.
Yeah. Oh, the
But
See, now we're dipping back, we're falling back into the rose-tinted glasses. We're
see,
like, oh, man.
yeah, okay. They also had a TV Guide, which is the first in video game history.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I don't own that, by the way. I wish I did.
I gotta get that.
Okay, Aaron, if I put 3 games in front of you and you had to pick as a fan, not as working at Sega,
Yeah.
1 game to port over, what would it be? Shimu? Would it be Skies of Arcadia, or would it be like a mixture of like Phantasy Star Blue Burst, like a port for PSN?
That's
a hard one, right?
Yeah, you just picked like some of my favorite franchises. Oh, that's tough. Well, there's no good way I can answer this question then. All right, you guys have to promise not to hate me for my answer, okay? Because I'm gonna make somebody mad regardless when I pick one.
I
of
know.
these 3. Okay, all right, good. That's good to know. I would say I can still play Shenmue all the time. So I probably would not pick Shenmue. If I had to pick, I would think I would go with Skies, actually.
That was actually one of the rumored titles, I think, right? On that news story.
Yeah, that was one of the other
Yeah,
ones.
it was.
Okay, that's a good title though. I really like that title, even though it took me forever to beat. I got stuck on the stupidest part of that game for the longest time. I couldn't believe it. When I was younger, I got stuck. You know when they come and attack your island and you have to go through the door? I couldn't find the door.
Oh no!
I was like, "Where's the door at?"
One of the doors is broken.
I literally
the
put
other
in
door's broken.
20 hours looking for that door.
Oh man.
I really like the art style of the game, so I didn't want to give up on it. And this is before I had game FAQs. I don't know why I couldn't find the door, but once I found it, I beat the game pretty easily.
Nice.
There was a lot of grinding though. God, man.
Did you play the Dreamcast version?
Yeah.
Yeah, the random battles were pretty.
I like when the disc is like it warned you, so you could pause it real quick and then.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, oh god, push the button and like heal everybody. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, that was awesome. Especially that lava boss. I think that was like the hardest boss for me. It's like a lava monster, if I remember.
Yeah, in the temple of pure something. It's been a long time since I played Skies now.
Yeah, I would love Skies on HD, especially with the new treatment they're doing. I'm not saying that it just seems like the older titles were like more of an experimental releases, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Jet Set Radio is like, okay, we got all the fan feedback. Jet Set Radio is like their flagship digital title, I mean, for Dreamcast ports to show off. Because it's widescreen and runs at 60 frames per second. And they fixed my only complaint about Jet Set Radio on the Dreamcast.
The camera.
The camera, the second joystick. Man, I'm so happy.
Man.
Definitely.
We're also getting it at 60 frames a second, so that's gonna be pretty sweet.
I already mentioned that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's good enough to mention twice.
There you go.
House of the Dead 4 coming to PSN April 17th.
Tax day, 2 days after tax day.
Of course. So you could buy it. You're gonna get a refund, right?
Yeah, use that.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully it's a lot. So you could buy me.
I haven't gotten a refund in a long time.
If you get a lot, what are you gonna buy me?
I don't know. What do you want?
House of the Dead 4.
All right. No.
There you go.
Sorry.
Well, you don't have a PS3. You can't play House of the Dead 4.
No, man.
I guess you have to play PS3 and then spend the dollars on.
I'm a Kinect fanboy. Remember that?
It's true. He likes his Kinect.
I'll find where the hell I put my PlayStation camera so I can use my Move again for that one.
Yeah, it looks great. I know Corey is very, very optimistic about this game. Well, I mean, he should be. It's a good game, and the port looks really, 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 really well done. Barry?
That seems to be a trend. It seems like all the ports that are coming out now are.
What is wrong? What's up with you guys, Aaron? We can't complain about anything right now.
I know. It's like we're listening to feedback or something. That's just crazy. What is this madness?
That's weird.
I know, man. It's why? Now we can't complain, and that's like the best thing about having a Sega site.
You're just gonna have to buy the games and enjoy them. I know it sounds terrible, guys, but
I don't want to do that.
It's the way of the future.
We want to play the games. We want to go on the Sega forums and complain.
Right?
The last, I just want to ask for Shimmy 3. Don't give it to me. The last one, Toe Jam and Earl invade Steam. Basically, I guess there's been copyright issues with
TJ&E.
Huh?
Oh, go on.
Yeah, I guess some guy named Greg Johnson owns it, because he's the creator. And I guess Sega of America made a pool a few years back where they were asking fans if they wanted what Sega Genesis title they wanted remade on Xbox Live Arcade.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
And yeah, and Toe Jam and Earl won, and Sega, and then the guy's like, "Hey, guess what, guys? You can't do it. Sorry. Sorry to ruin everybody's fun, but I want money, bros." And I guess there's something worked out since it's out. They're out now. I mean, at least the older titles. There's been some agreement, right, in payments. So those are out on Steam, and I
have no idea.
Well, yeah, because I would assume that's a different, they're not going to bother Aaron. They're like, Aaron, Toe Jam and Earl are back, bro. And you're like, thanks. Who?
I wonder if this means they'll add them as racers for Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing 2.
That's what everybody else is thinking. Man.
Yeah.
There's so many more characters I wanted Toe Jam and Earl. But I wouldn't mind them. I think they fit the game art style-wise. Because I think we had a interview with Steve, what's his name? The guy from...
Steve Lycat?
Yeah, from Sumo Digital, and he said that Sega kind of wanted to stay with an art style.
Mm-hmm.
Usually. That they were kind of surprised that they let them put the Shimu character.
Right. Yeah, I remember him saying something like they wanted to... That's why they went with the House of the Dead zombies that they went with, because...
The Japanese only ones?
Yeah, they wanted
Weird move.
to have a similar art style, but then I think when we were like, well, what about Virtua Fighter? I think he ran away.
Yeah,
so.
That's Virtua Fighter.
But he's reappeared on the Sonic Stadium forums, and he was like, hey guys, just saying hi.
Just saying hi.
Yeah, he was like, quit sending me wish lists. Quit getting all excited. See you later. So I'm sure the guy gets Shenmue 3 please emails.
Oh god.
Constantly.
Aaron, you ever play Toe Jam and Earl games?
Yeah, I had the one on Genesis that it actually came with as part of a pack of games that you used the Menacer? Does that sound right?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, that's
gun.
it. That's the name.
Yeah, I think you shot tomatoes on that screen, like in that game. I remember that was one of my first Toe Jam and Earl experiences. Was that with the Menacer? Yeah. Beyond that, like you said, it's something handled by the digital team, so that's not one that I am aware of or know much of. I do tend to poke and prod them sometimes and ask about games that I'm interested in that are coming out. I'm like, so what's going on with this game? But yeah, for the most part, I'm not completely up to speed on everything they're doing.
I have another question for you, Aaron. So we were talking about the racing title, Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing. Was there any character that you personally, because you're a Sega fan, so obviously, that you wanted to be in the game, but Sega was like, I don't know, there's too much. It was either too late or some other reason that you would want to be in there, I guess, as a fan.
In racing, yeah. No, there were a lot actually. Way back when there was a list of characters that we would ideally franchises we'd like to see come back. And there were some that I recommended that didn't make it in. I was really pleased that Rio made it in. Mm-hmm. So happy to see that. But to answer your question, yeah, there definitely are. I can name some specifics if you want, but
one would be fine, so I could know around what area. Don't tell me Phantasy Star Online, because I'm gonna be mad.
I want the safari guy from Congo Bongo riding the gorilla. There you go.
or Let's Go Jungle, right? I could give you the characters from Let's Go Jungle. That would be great.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be nice.
I bet only a few people would get that reference. But if I had to pick one that I think would have fit in the universe of the first, how to put it? I think I'd probably go with Vice. Because Vice is one of the characters. I've already given you Skies of Arcade as my favorite game. And I just really liked Vice's character. Even for as cliche as some of the things he might have said, I thought he was an awesome character in Skies of Arcadia, so I really appreciate that. You might have seen the picture. I dressed up as Vice for Halloween.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to use it for the header for our Dreamcast XBLA titles story, but I couldn't find it, so I used this Japanese woman or man. I can't tell if it's a man or woman. It looks like a woman.
That's the best part of it.
Cosplay though. It was a good costume. I saw that.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Well, he was on He was on Valkyrie Chronicles, the first game, so I guess it's not impossible to have him.
That's true.
Sumo Digital told us that, like, as you guys got feedback from the original developers, how often does this happen when you guys remake a title? Like, does it happen on, like, when you guys handled, like, I don't know. I don't think you were around when the first, was it House of the Dead game? I forgot the, Overkill.
Overkill, yeah.
Overkill was one of the first titles I worked on.
Oh,
as a
really?
game
Oh, wow.
manager. Yep.
Okay, then I was almost, okay. I thought it was a little too early.
I think it's actually the first game that I have my name in the credits for. Yeah. Overkill's probably the first one.
I like
And
that
then
game.
Adworld.
A
That
lot
was
of
a great
fans
game.
are saying it's very different or whatever, but who cares? I think it's great. I like the art style. I like everything they did with that game. It's a cool, like, kind of, I guess, not really a reboot, but a different style, like more of a console style version of the game, the arcade games.
Mhm.
Because when you play an arcade, obviously it's okay to have cheesy voices because nobody's really caring about that. They just want to shoot zombies in the face. On console, you need a little bit more, to sell the title.
It depends. I think a lot of people enjoyed House of the Dead 2 for its cheesy voice acting.
I did, but it's not a big market, especially on console. Well, yeah, I was gonna say, do you guys like talk to the Japanese team, like the original House of the Dead people, and talk about the changes you guys are thinking of doing?
Changes we're thinking of doing. What's
Like,
it in regard to?
Well, I'm saying, like, House of the Dead Overkill was more vulgar, it said fuck like 1,000 times.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
did you need to get
Like
the permission?
Or like even
Yeah. I got you. It probably happened on that one. See, that's a question the producers could answer best for you, because the producers are the people that really work closely with the game from the very moment that the idea pops into someone's head, and then they
Okay.
work on stuff like the script, and they also liaise with the teams in Japan, and they get the IP approval and all of the stuff that you have to do, all that red tape and the hoops you have to jump through. I would bet that discussion happened at one point. But what's funny is that House of the Dead was always intended to be that sort of cheesy B movie. Like, it's supposed to look like it has a really low budget, but the fun is in the arcade shooting element. And I didn't get that the first time I played House of the Dead 2. I just thought the voice acting was terrible, and they'd actually tried. And I didn't
you
get
thought
it until-
you thought Sega was like, oh yeah, this is good right here. Let's hire this
Yeah.
person, give him money.
it was in my
I don't want to die.
Sega's like, yes.
My God.
Don't come. Don't come.
we're meeting Chief over there. And I was like, it's just like the worst voice acting ever. I didn't get the joke at first. And then years later, I was like, oh God, they did that on purpose. Oh, okay. And then it was fantastic. And so when Overkill came out, I was like, they've really taken what they were trying to do with the older games. And I think some people got it, but not everyone did. And those people were probably just like, why is this so bad? Why is the voice acting so terrible? And with Overkill, you can't help but notice, like, when you get to the want a lollipop scene when they're riding in the ice cream truck, like, that moment was just fantastic. I thought that I laughed out loud when playing that
great.
game.
I think it's still cheesy in the B movie sort of way. Just it's a different cheesiness.
And it's trying to be to be over the top and kind of cringeworthy sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, I was just saying because a lot of people were saying that they don't like, I guess, Western or different developers handling IPs because they don't think that the Japanese people, part of the studio has much to do with it. But I assume they have something to do with it because when we were interviewing, we're doing the Sega All Stars interview. He said that the hardest character to get down was Ulala because he had to they had to get the animations approved by the character designer in Japan.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
So they were really hands-on. Like they had to move the way they liked it, or they wouldn't have approved it. So they said that it's kind of hard because that was the hardest one because they were more picky than the other people. I don't think Sonic Team cares about Billy Hatcher that much, right?
You'd be surprised, man. No, it's cool. Sonic Team really cares about their characters.
I
All
know
of them.
they do. I was just joking. Just making a joke.
that Billy Hatcher. See,
That
you got
Billy-
me. That's one for one, man. One sarcasm for you, one for me. We both got each other.
What do you think about Billy Hatcher having like 15 tracks on All Star Racing, man? Come on, man. That had to make you a little bit mad.
What you got against Billy Hatcher now?
I
First
don't
was
have
Blue
anything
Logos, now
against
it's Billy
Billy
Hatcher? What is
This
this?
isn't ending well.
This is not gonna be an argument. I love Billy Hatcher. I hate Billy Hatcher, but at the point, I don't mind him having one, one track. But like it just feels like Sonic Team's like, well, we have all these assets right here. We could just like really quickly make tracks out of them.
Well, that's what happened with all of our All-Star Racing. There was like 4 or 5 games total that had like 3 tracks per game, I believe. 2 to 3 tracks.
And I think they said there were so many Sonic Team franchises as tracks because they were the easiest to get the rights to, or at least to get the approval of.
Okay, it makes sense.
So when it came to Billy Hatcher, I think it was a part that one of the leads from Sumo was a big Billy Hatcher fan. He wanted to have that represented. And also that Sega or Sonic Team was probably basically saying, yeah, take whichever franchise we made and we have no beef with it. Except for Knights, who oddly didn't get his own track.
Knights,
I don't understand.
There was a lot of complaining about Knights. I remember this.
Yeah.
The Don't
Who
Forget
doesn't?
Knights campaign. Yeah. Yeah.
Who didn't somebody say they were going to burn all their Knights stuff?
Yeah, that was Digi and Trippy.
What was the thing that like if he's in it, they'll burn it?
Well, yeah, the point they were trying to make is that Knights was not going to be in the game, and everyone was saying,
you guys should have just
no.
put it in there and then just watch it all burn.
so mean. No,
they get their wish. They wanted him in there. You guys gave them their wish, but now you take their happiness away by destroying everything.
One thing I didn't understand. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
one thing I didn't understand was their choice of Bonanza Brothers, which is so.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was. I love. Okay, that's the kind of stuff I like actually. Like little weird. You never expect it until you open. You know what I mean? Like they put some characters that I wouldn't even put in. That you know what I mean? They're not popular. That's
I think
the
timing of Bonanza Brothers was great because the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection was I think just 6 months old at that point or whatever, and so most people who have played Bonanza Brothers by that point. So
yeah,
I recognize the characters. I wouldn't have recognized them before that, except from Shenmue and the little capsule toys. But
either that, or they did like me, and after playing, the racing game, they went back to the Genesis collection and looked up Bonanza Brothers, and then tried it out.
That's a pretty fun game too. It's like a cross between Metal Gear Solid and I don't know what else, Legos.
I was gonna say Keystone Keepers from the 2600, but that's kind of showing my age here.
Lego Metal Gear Solid. I don't know.
Oh, well, I think that's it. That's all the topics we have, actually. If you want to ask them something, you could.
No Twitter questions?
Well, they were mostly when Shimmy 3 coming, so we already discussed that in next month, right?
Summer 2012.
15.
It already came out. We called it Yakuza, actually.
Oh my God! Don't start.
I'm
oh my God! Please don't. Oh, this is going to cause more trouble than it's worth.
If people can spend the last 5 years debating if Sonic 06 is really Sonic Adventure 3, then if you tell them that Yakuza is Shenmue 3, I wouldn't put it past them.
They're still arguing about Unleashed because of World Adventure is the title in Japan.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up because the World Adventure thing came up as that was Unleashed, and the concept, I think it was actually talked about at some point that there was debate about, is that Sonic Adventure 3? What's officially Sonic Adventure 3? As of yet, of course, we've not had a game titled Sonic Adventure 3, so no.
Well, you never know. I mean, Sonic 4, long time coming, but we did get a Sonic 4.
we did, and that was a long couple years of my life on that first episode. Yeah, and
that's insane.
Continues with Ken now. Yeah.
Wow, wasn't it just you said you bought Phantasy Star Online for the demo of Sonic Adventure 2, which I think in a way I kind of did too, even though I was excited for Phantasy Star Online. Mm-hmm. The first thing I put in was a demo.
It's true. That's what I did.
And that was an awesome demo, man. I played that demo like 100 times. It was City Escape.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was awesome. Man, I wish there's some stuff in Sonic 2 I don't know why I disliked it when I was younger, but I didn't think the game was as good as Adventure 1. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just because I grew up on the Genesis one, so Adventure 1 felt more Genesis-like, but Sonic Adventure 2 felt more like what the new style is, I guess.
Yeah, I remember I was so impatient for Sonic Adventure 1, I imported the Dreamcast when it was like $500 at the time, and I was just working part-time at EB Games back
wow.
Nice.
I got
Dedication
that in,
right
like
there.
Virtual Fighter 3. Yeah.
That is dedication.
Nice.
Jeez.
I remember my first time technically at home with the internet was on the Dreamcast, which is so weird. Because, I mean, at the time it was cool, but like, oh man, so terrible. Some terrible websites people used to create. Very well. I
On
like
the Dreamcast?
no, yeah. You can make websites on the Dreamcast, just very
Oh,
terrible
yeah.
websites.
Like...
You know. Did you make
Oh, yeah.
sites on it?
I don't think I made any. I remember that the quality of certainly of the websites, like, it wasn't always there.
Those GeoCity websites.
Oh, geez, I used GeoCities for a while, way back in
Me
the
too.
day. Yeah.
That was my first website I ever created, was GeoCities.
Memories.
I remember that.
Everyone remembers their first porn site on the Dreamcast, I think.
I still have it bookmarked on my Dreamcast VMU. No, I'm joking.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't want to be talking about pornography on this episode.
I'm joking. Porno's bad.
Well, not in moderation. You don't want to tell them it's bad. Then they're going to want it more.
Oh, okay.
Just
It's
tell them
not
it's
good
okay.
or bad.
It's pretty cool in moderation, says the old people.
If it's a hostess club, then it's okay.
Reverse psychology. There you go.
So, which of the... Well, there's a lot of Yakuza games. Which of the Yakuza games is your favorite, Aaron? The Punch a Tiger in the Face on the roof?
Yeah, Yakuza 2. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
He knows his Yakuza stuff. I just testing him.
Yeah. I would say that 4 is my favorite of the first 4 games. And Dead Souls is cool, but I can't compare it to the first 4 because its style is so different. Like, even Kenzan, for the most part, plays a lot like the first 4 games.
Okay.
I imported Kenzan, years ago and played the heck out of that and loved it. Yeah, I'd say 4 was probably my favorite in the main vein, and then Dead Souls, it's a lot of fun, but it's kind of in its own territory.
Hey, I think we're running a little long. Maybe we should wrap this up.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Tell them about the podcast next week. You put it together.
Oh, right. All right. This will be pretty cool. Aaron might get a kick out of this. Basically,
Okay.
I was sitting around staring at my computer screen, and I started thinking that February of 2001 marked the last Dreamcast game in North America, or 2002, I'm sorry, with NHL 2K2.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking that maybe we could do and I'm not talking and inviting you, I'm just saying George and myself and a few other Segabits people.
He's saying you're not invited, Aaron.
You're not invited. No, just kidding. No, we don't. We know you're busy with Yakuza, but no, it's been 10 years now since Sega's been exclusively a third-party publisher, and so we were going to do a special edition show where we go through every year from 2002 to 2012, covering the highs and the lows and talking about Sega as it is now. So that's the plan. Hopefully
next week, hopefully we have a better internet. I mean, we're more. It goes more smoothly. We've actually had pretty smooth shows lately, except for this one.
10 years, and I still have my Dreamcast with me.
It's crazy too, yeah, because it's been 20 years. I got my my Genesis in 2000. Wow, it's getting late. In 1991, and I've had.
Nice.
That means I've been with the hardware for 10 years, and I've been with the third-party publishing for 10 years. So.
Yeah, I've never kept the
Weird.
system around this long, but I had just a personal love for the Dreamcast.
Because you trade them all in, that's why. You're not supposed to trade them in, I'm telling
No,
you.
I kept a lot of my Dreamcast games.
So that's the plan for next week's show. But wrapping up this week's show, I want to thank Aaron for coming on. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and it's nice to meet
Thank you, guys. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're gonna be at Sonic Boom, right?
Will I be at Sonic Boom? I don't know. You'll have to wait and find out.
He's gonna
we
be
should
there, dude.
mention
He's gonna
that,
be there partying it down, dude. I know it. He's gonna be drunk, just
should
shoving
mention
Shimmy fans away. Get away from me! No more spam.
Aaron will go to Sonic Boom if everyone listening buys Yakuza Dead Souls.
Yes, and your parents and your cousins and your aunts and uncles.
Yes.
We should mention that tickets for Sonic Boom go on sale this Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific
Yes.
time.
Oh,
Are
nice.
you going? Are you going, Jason?
Yeah, I'm going. It's Comic-Con, and I go there every year, so I'm definitely going to be the Sonic Boom as well.
Cool.
All right. I just
Yeah,
wanted
it
to
should
know
be
if
a good
Jason
time.
was going. Because if Jason's going, I wasn't gonna go. I'm just joking.
You guys are so nice to each other.
Yeah, well, we love each other. It's tough love.
Yeah, it's good.
It's like a family. We just can't choose each other.
Well, from me, Barry, and from George, and from Shigs,
Goodbye.
goodbye. And
And
Goodbye.
I love you.
Goodbye.
Our souls. Dead Souls. Out. Now. Bye.
go buy it. It's $45 on Amazon.